Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review, The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 7, Left Behind. Or it could be called Let's Go to the Mall. We'll get into that in a little bit, but wow. What an episode of The Last of Us. We're going to be breaking down tonight's episode and getting your voice in the show as well. If you want to get your voice in, call on in at 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. And whenever you're listening to this, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can call that number and leave a voicemail. And we did get some off-time voicemails, some off-air voicemails that we'll get to tonight as well, and we appreciate your voicemails. And share your thoughts, jump in the poll, tell me what you thought about this particular episode. My co-host and partner in crime, Joe Dirty Locks, will be with us tonight. He had to go pick up the crow at work, but he will be back, and he promised he'll be joining us a little late this evening. But I couldn't wait to get out here and get the thoughts going on this episode. I have mixed feelings about this episode. There's a lot to talk about and unpack about this particular episode. I'm perusing what people are thinking in the chat and what the poll is saying so far about people's opinions of this episode, and it seems to be legitimately split right down. My poll after his thoughts on tonight's episode: awesome, it's pretty good, meh, or yeah, this one didn't do it for me. And we got 20%, 30%, 20%, 27%. So it's all pretty close about tonight's episode. I'm of two minds. I didn't really like the beginning part of the episode. Was there was parts of it that were endearing in the interactions, but other parts were boring, and I found myself straying off from my notes and not looking at my phone a little bit. But the end of the episode with the whole thing with the infected, maybe I'm starving, and I know I'm a kitty cat that likes looking at bright lights, so when I see some action, it feeds into it a little bit. But I didn't hate this episode. I didn't like this episode as much as last week's episode, and this probably wasn't my favorite. I'm stammering here because I'm struggling to verbalize it in the correct manner, but we're gonna get all into this, and I'm curious to see what Joe thought about this, what the people that played the DLC, because this episode is based around the DLC. And I thought it was good for Ellie for character moments. I feel like I know Ellie more after this episode. These were the parts that I enjoyed about it. I kind of liked the chemistry between the two actors. I liked seeing Ellie in school a little bit. I could have done with a little bit more of Ellie in school and dealing with her Fedra situation. It's not that I didn't enjoy the Robin Sparkles part of the episode. Let's go to the mall, y'all. You know, like I enjoyed the let's go to the mall stuff. I mean, you knew when they were walking in there. Joe Dirty Locks is with us. I'll pop him in here in a second. I knew when they got in there that it's not going to last long before an infected pops up. And I thought the way that was all done with the infected was dictated pretty cool. But there was a lot of drag in this episode for me, and I can't quite verbalize the reasons why, but you know who might be able to verbalize the reasons why? My co-host, Joe Dirty Locks. What's going on tonight, Joe?
I don't know what's going on tonight, Phil.
What's up? How are you feeling tonight, Joe?
I'm feeling.
I'm confused to what you would think of this episode.
Flashbacks of the 90s here, the early 90s.
Oh,
There's this big structure with these stores.
I know. Do you remember I can't remember if we had times hanging out at the mall. I know I had a lot of time with Nick hanging out at the mall.
Not really. People I hung out at the mall with that you might know was more just like driving really drunk to get there, drinking in and around the mall, and then driving drunk to get home.
And remember, kids, don't try this stuff at home.
Yeah, we didn't have ways to get to the mall. The mall was pretty distant. None of us really had a car.
No, unless you consider, again, as the pre-mentioned Starbucks strip mall here up there in the situation.
We weren't spending our money on at the mall. We were spending our money on drugs and shit, dude.
And it seems to be a split right now, Joe.
We were going out of state to rave.
Right.
It seems to be that we have a split that some of the people that played the DLC maybe didn't like this episode as much as the people that are watching this stuff for the first time. Joe, what are your opinions coming out of tonight's episode? I know you start to figure it out as we unpack it and as we talk about it more. But...
Oh no, I figured it out. This was so for what it's worth. This is Left Behind. I really didn't see any difference between this and what I remember from playing the Left Behind expansion. And that being said, I was really kind of just bored fucking stiff throughout it all. I actually thought their chemistry was
off a little bit,
kind of awkward, and not awkward in like the kind of chemistry where it's oh no, it's awkward love, or there's two kids that don't know how to act because they're horny for each other or some shit like that, or one's horny and the other one's. It didn't feel like that. It just felt like I didn't feel their chemistry.
Yeah, you didn't feel the... Oh, no, I mean, part of it with this one too, Joe, and I felt, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on this one particularly, because I do think there are elements of this episode I enjoyed, but I didn't know any of this, and I was a little bored by it. So I can imagine if somebody knows, and people could say, if you like this, we want to hear your opinions too.
I love the story. The Left Behind story is great. I think it fit really well with the game. I really liked the addition to it as an expansion, and I thought it was fantastic when I played it. I really feel like, in spite of this being where this cutscene comes in to begin with, this might have served us better at some other point, or maybe even not at all. It's easy to see why they left it out of the game, because it's a big chunk of fucking time that doesn't necessarily inform anything to the current story.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to, I guess...
I mean, this does a little. Sorry. It does a little.
No, it does. And this is what I was saying as you were getting on.
As far as her character.
The things that I think I get more is stuff that you were hinting at the last couple of weeks about Ellie that I didn't realize. That she's a little bit more of a badass, that she can throw down, that she's going to kick someone's fucking ass if she has to, and put the bully in the hospital with 11 stitches. I wish they showed that. That's what I'm saying. I wish they showed a little bit more of her at school. And to your point, this is a situation where, and I don't want to set you up in a hypocritical kind of situation, but this is one of those situations where they might have benefited to change it up a little bit. Put a little bit more stuff than just the straight representation of the DLC. You were talking about this last week.
They did with the school stuff.
And I would have liked even more. That was my favorite part of the episode, that and the little stuff we got with Joel and Ellie. And I also just like the Ellie character stuff. Bella Ramsey continues to impress me as a little actress and an actor. She just pulls it off, and she has unbelievable in of herself. She creates chemistry. I agree with what you're saying, Joe, and Steph Snow is echoing your statements in the live chat. And I only saw her. If anyone else is, I'm sorry, but I saw Steph's comment roll by about them not having sexual chemistry, or feeling that even little kid energy when you're around that girl you have a crush on, or the guy you have a crush on.
It felt like Ellie was trying to portray that, but I didn't feel like Bella, I didn't feel like it was there.
Right. No, fair.
The definite, they were trying to set it up, the shots, the way they were telling her, acting
fair.
it out.
I mean, fair. Sometimes
it wasn't there for them.
Yes, some actors have that for people, some actors don't, and it's just tough to depict it on screen properly. And we'll talk about that, and we'll pack that apart too. And again, if you, like we said, if you felt this episode, if you're feeling this, and you think Joe and I are full of dog ass, we want to hear about it. And we want to know why this episode really worked for you.
We know we're full of dog ass, but tell us
anyway. We want to know why you think. Yeah, we want to know why they think we're full of dog and cat ass. Take on me. Another thing I really liked in this Joe, really liked in this episode was the music choices. And was that a 1-for-1? Were they using the same music that they were using in the game?
No, I think that was that might be an addition. They might have changed sound.
Yeah, was there like a Pearl Jam song, and there's like a Pearl Jam song and shit?
I don't know what I can't remember offhand what any of the soundtrack was for Left Behind specifically.
Ooh.
I just know that eerie guitar is fantastic.
Yeah, no, really good stuff. Maud Mary, email me if you can at igotissuesman@gmail.com or tweet at me, igotissuesman, somewhere where I'll remember it. But if you have that request to pull in your win on the wheel for a request, bring it in. I'm actually thinking about doing a new show as well in the coming weeks. I'm just not sure how I want to cover it, but I want to quickly recommend the show Shrinking or whatever it is on Apple Plus with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. Especially Harrison Ford is probably the most engaged in a part I've seen Harrison Ford in 20 fucking years. If you like Harrison Ford, you owe it to yourself to watch this. He's hilarious in it. And so is Jason. It's a sad, funny show, but it's good stuff. Anyways, back to The Last of Us. We have voicemails, Joe. We have a bunch of them. Let's get into this tonight. Let's start reverse order.
The music they were dancing to was Take On Me. It was just all Tinkerbelly there.
Yeah, it was Take On Me.
Said that.
I believe so.
Yeah, they played Take On Me, but then when they were dancing too, it was still Take On Me.
And Heineken says, come on, Joe doesn't remember all the songs from the game. Walking David left a voicemail. Play the bongos in a way that expresses teen awkward love awkwardness. Oh, that's your request? You want me to go all the Lloyd Dobber or whatever it is, John Cusack, and hold the stereo and play the bongos meaningfully with passion? Ooh, that's a good request, Maud Mary. I would love that. And here we go. Who's hyped for? I'm excited to see the Tetris movie for sure. Apple Plus has got some good shows right now in the point. Maud says it's in the chat. Let me. I gotta take a picture of that. But let's get to our first voicemail of the night, and we'll play it. It's from our good buddy at 773.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's me. Just finished the episode. This episode. It was okay for me. I was looking forward to it because I knew this was going to be a big moment, and from what I'm assuming Joe was going to say is maybe it could have lived up to its hype. Some things were done differently, like the whole arcade thing. Seeing that was definitely an interesting thing. It did kind of bother me how Riley knew the finish movements.
Oh, before we go too far with that one, because I wrote that in my notes too. It bothered me, but then Ellie called her on her, and we got an explanation.
Oh, you played this one before.
You played this one before.
And here's the thing too.
And
she says she comes across a Mortal Kombat machine with Joel earlier in the series.
Yep.
Have you ever played this? No, but my friend has, and she told me all about it.
Okay, so that's
a
good connection back to that. And if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but in my memory, the finishing moves in Mortal Kombat were actually on the machine. They wrote them, and especially in Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 boxes. I don't know if after that they did it, but
I think that was a little later too. Like originally, no, but like by the time I remember been out for years. All the button layouts.
I remember going to the arcade.
Had it.
Yeah, and seeing it, seeing this is your fatality, is up, left to the right, stick it in your, tickle the tank, whatever. We got our first super chat of the night from the amazing Steph Snow. Thank you for being here to discuss the show. Appreciate what you and Joe do in the motherfucking chat. Thank you. And I forgot to say, we're not alone. We got the motherfucking chat with us tonight. And we got Maud Mary, the Daywalker. We got Sonic, your boy. We got Loner Incognito. We got Luna. We got DJ Better. We got Lara. We got General Grievous. We got Atari Dad. We've got Luna. We've got Heineken, Rishi. We've got all of our good friends. And Maud Mary, I took a picture of your live chat request. I'll try to do that later tonight or on a future stream up and coming. She wants me to show. Let me read what the request is again. Play the bongos in a way that expresses teen love and awkwardness. Now, Joe has seen me play the bongos as a teenager, expressing love and awkwardness, so he can be a judge.
It pretty much looks the same.
It's not much different, is it right, Joe? It's not that much different. All I really have to do is play the bongos and look into the camera, right? I mean,
yeah.
I'm pretty much have the same thing. Oh, we got Apulia here as well. Another channel member. Thank you so much,
like telling
Napulia.
him to play the bongos while looking like Jesus.
Yeah, it's not that difficult.
All he has to do is put on sandals, and there you go.
And thank you. Oh, we also got the Walking David, Mad Sinister, Apulia, Steph Snow, all of our good friends. Thank you, everyone, for joining us every week to talk about this show. We really do appreciate it. We've got 2 more episodes of The Last of Us after this. This season flew by, Joe.
Oh, God. So
like,
fast.
you could figure that whole thing out in, like, what?
Sorry, Mark, you have to trust my process. Eventually, I'll get to you. We got Mark Houston, the man who always tells you to trust your process. It will happen. It will happen.
A day or so, whatever the amount of time she was given before her and Ellie played, that bothered me a little bit. Some things I felt like were moving too fast, like at the end where Riley was saying option 1, option 2, option 3. I feel like that could have been more paced. I don't know.
I would have liked to have seen, and we don't get it in The Last of Us either, but I really would have liked to have seen when she realizes she's not turning, but her friend has turned.
Yeah, and I thought we were gonna get that from where
you don't get that.
You don't get
that. You don't get any real fucking moments. You get cheesy Kathleen shit and stupid fucking carousel shit.
Oh,
that's what you get.
Okay, the carousel stuff was whatever. The one thing I did like about the carousel,
Let's talk about a real emotional moment.
The escalator.
How about when she has to kill the first person she's ever kissed?
Right, or when they just stay together and then Ellie's not dying. I mean, good thing they didn't decide to do the easy route, right? I mean,
right? I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. Is that what you say to me in that situation? Phil, I don't want to do that. No, I would not be killing myself today.
We're not Bill and Frank. We already did that 3-4 episodes ago.
We're already dead. And let's get to some more voicemails. This is Steph Snow.
Hey, it's Steph Snow from 860. Oh, I don't know this one.
Wow, that was an amazing, unmeaningful rhyme at the beginning. Did you hear that, Joe? Hey, this is Steph Snow from 860, and I don't know. Oh. Listen again. Listen again. We can play the music here with this one. It can work.
Hey, it's Steph Snow from 860. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
So cliche. I didn't play the DLC, so I don't know how it correlates, but I mean, I just had a weird feeling the whole time, and I don't know, I thought it was really cheesy, too saccharine, really cliche. You knew that, some infected was going to come out, and it was kind of actually unclear.
That was
the one that actually
so stupid too.
We'll play the rest of your message in a second.
So stupid. Like they just cut suddenly. Like there's a cut to one of the ones that's like stuck to the wall kinda, and he wakes up. Like slowly wakes up.
Yeah,
the music, the noise, the lights, everything's been going for so fucking long.
It was a crescendo thing. It was like a stunt.
Bah! So it's supposed to be some sort of jump scare. It was like, much better would have been just opening a fucking door and it just popping out at everybody. Like anything. Stumbled in, ran in from the street, anything. Maybe even use that thing you set up in episode 2 where one of them steps on some stupid shit in the mall. Like, you don't even fucking, like... It really felt like they're not even trying. Like, that made it really feel like there's no try. That like we want to, we kind of have to do something with the infected. All right, well, let's do like a real, like, kind of horror movie.
Is that how
slow camera in down a dark, like, store?
Oh, it's coming.
Like,
it's
the
coming.
Drapes into the back, moldy.
And what
area.
took the infected so long to get out there when they were making that much noise for so long?
Right.
Like what
Right.
finally was? Did it break off of something? I was literally
Right.
a little clear. Was it like trapped to something and it took a while for it to break free? Did it listen to the music for a while and
right?
was it smoking a doobie and wait? It had
Dude,
to get a little.
it was done awful.
Was it waiting for the psilocybin to kick in?
And then dare I say it again, the trope of Ellie hears the screams from the distance and goes running to save her friend, only to find out that, you know,
Oh, that it's just
a Halloween.
It's
thing.
just a woo woo woo. That's the last of number 4 of our natural wonders. We got another
the Wolfman and the insane clown masks, you know.
Dude, that was one of the best parts of the episode when they're doing it. It was like watching Eyes Wide Shut for a second. It was the one time where they felt like they had chemistry when they were both wearing the masks and dancing, just because it was such a surreal Twin Peaksy kind of like moment of the two of them dancing up there. Like I felt something. I can't explain what I was feeling, but it was the moment I felt the most chemistry between them. And when she took off the mask and was breathing heavy and looked at her, I felt something in that moment. Like I felt the energy between them. And I don't know if it was just the setup of it was so off and ridiculous that it's surreal. I kind of liked it.
I would have. So one of the moments you get in the Left Behind is a water gun fight. And you get to play and have a water gun fight, right? You can either win it or lose it, and you get a little bit different, like half a second, like line of dialogue or whatever.
Cute.
It could be an achievement or some shit. Would you have rather seen that or
Escalator fun?
Escalator fun.
Okay, the Escalator fun I kind of liked because
I kind of didn't like it.
If you never saw an Escalator, I kind of didn't like it a lot. If you never saw an Escalator,
I didn't like it a lot.
That kind of sounds like you mean you hate it, Joe.
It felt she did not. She looked like she. I'm sorry, but this is the episode where anybody who said I don't know about Bella Ramsey's acting in episode 1 or episode 2 or whenever the fuck they said it, this is the episode where I am fully on board with that statement. This escalator scene, I looked like they were like, look like you're having fun. Look like you're having fun, Ellie. And this 19-year-old woman is like, I know I'm supposed to be 14, but how much fun do you want me to have on an escalator?
13 at that point, probably.
Right. Even like either way, like I'm like, and like it really looked like is it like almost she did it mocking towards the directors, almost like. I didn't feel it. It didn't feel honest. It didn't feel like it just. There was nothing about it where I was like, "Oh yeah, this is." It felt like they were sitting around a table and go, "What else would a kid have fun at them?" Well, they never saw an escalator. Oh yeah, my 10-year-old went nuts when they first saw an escalator. Do you remember when our kids they just kept trying to run up and down the escalator? We almost got thrown out of the mall.
It was a member.
Yeah.
It was a little member berry. You're right. You're making me feel lame for liking it, Joe. Go fuck yourself. Okay, really... So let's get to our super chat donation before it goes by. Luna says, I think the same story deviations concerns were said about ROP, Game of Thrones, Hot D. Some changes from the source material is okay if it keeps the story popping, but there has to be respect for the source material. And I will say the number one thing is entertain me. Like, I don't care if it's the source material. Were you not entertained tonight, Joe?
I wasn't entertained.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Mostly, and I don't know, because when I saw all of this the first time in the DLC, it was entertaining. I did enjoy it. But a lot of that, again, has to do with the action sequences that you get to partake in, the puzzle pieces that you have to put together to play this game.
And in fair enough to Heineken's point about escalators are exciting when you're a kid.
When you're a kid, but when you're 15?
13. She's
13?
Never seen an escalator before in the mall for the very first time. Sure. You would be wowed, Joe. Even young angry Joe would be wowed by the escalator.
Okay. Now
wow.
There's
like going into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
We understand that this is her first escalator she's ever seen.
Yes.
This is Boston.
What mall is this, Joe?
Right, hold on. This is a city that has electricity, that has big buildings still, that have at least broken escalators through them, or even possibly still working escalators in them.
I'm surprised anything.
So again, I want to be like, none of this felt good to me. So I mean, okay, this is the only escalator she's ever fucking laid eyes on in any of the buildings she's been in Boston, right? And not only that, but it's the only working fucking escalator in Boston. Like, come on now.
I'm surprised that the merry-go-round carousel even went on, because those things break down all the time. I'm glad it broke, because they're always broken. Like, literally, if you've ever been to one in the mall, they're never working. They always have a sign say off. Anyways, let's play the rest of Steph Snow's message here.
Came out from the loud music was the same one that was like mashed into the wall. I mean, how did he rip out of the wall if that was the same infected? And of course she knew that she was going to die, at least from the whole time. And I guess they both get bit, and I don't know. For me, I didn't like this episode. I guess it like sort of relays that
I will, lady.
he has
Thank you.
loss and love, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of lame. All right, I'm excited to see what you guys all think. Bye.
So Joe, do you agree with Miss Steph Snow here? Sorry, I turned you up, Joe.
Did I agree with Steph Snow about all of that?
Yes,
yeah.
Being cliche. Was that right? No, I just wanted you to get. I was trying to get you to talk, to make sure you're louder now, but you are. Yes. I turned you up. You don't have to. It's good.
What did I say last week?
I don't know. Let's play our next voicemail. Joe doesn't.
I repeat myself a lot. I'm sorry.
It happens. This is area code 859.
Hey, Phil. It appears that Joe was right. We're just at this point. I know with the games and stuff, we've got to catch up on some stuff. So if they're going to want to fit everything in, then they're going to have to make episode 9 like 2 hours long. No joke.
So
Joe was totally right about this whole Kathleen nonsense. It totally bogged down the story, and now they've got too much they got to cover.
So there we go, Joe. Joe hearing his favorite words in the English language. Joe is right. And I've also heard from Steph Snow, please repeat that information in the live chat, that our last episode, I believe, is only 46 minutes long. I think our next 2 episodes are both under an hour. Does that concern you at all for 2 episodes?
Yeah. I am like, I'm not excited. I've gone from telling people enthusiastically to watch this show pre-start to even up through episode 3 to being completely like, to now like, don't even waste your time. Like, prestige TV, this is not. It is straight pedestrian TV.
Now, I don't know about next week's episode.
Banal.
Pulling out the fucking PSAT study guide for vocabulary here.
Oh, the crow laying some shit on Joe's head right there. For pulling out the dictionary. He's got his word of the day calendar, Katie. So I'm not sure about next week's episode, but I think the season finale is 46. I think next week's episode is like 60 minutes. So we have
that's awful.
So we have about 104 minutes or so, roughly, to tell the rest of the game, Joe.
Okay, so let's
say
I'm gonna think about what we have left here.
Let's say we have 120 minutes. Let's say I'm wrong about this, and we have 2 full 60-minute episodes, Joe.
Even still, okay, so next week is there's still Joel needs time to recover. So the stuff that's going to be going on,
they're going to skip time,
next
right?
week. Nope. Not. I don't see how they're going to skip time because they mentioned David in the previews for next week. And David is a character she meets while Joel is still injured and out of it and recovering. And David is a important character. So they're going to have to get into a little bit of this stuff of what happens while Joel is sick to help Joel not be sick anymore, I guess, or to get past this moment in the story. They're not just going to jump over it because this sets up the character David, right? And then this just I can't explain this so much, but it's not a lot, right? And if they want to make, they've kind of made it like they've already set David as a character. They've given him a name. They gave him his own cutscene for scenes from next week, right? Like, so if they want to actually flesh out this a little,
he seems like. Oh, I just gonna say from they seem in the hints to be like that he's going to at least try to help Ellie a little bit while Joel's on the mend. That's what I saw in the previews.
Correct. I'm gonna tell you about what happens in the game.
No, don't spoil.
No,
don't spoil. No
All
spoilers.
right.
No spoilers. Right. Stop.
That's the game, though. That's not the TV show. They're both different. You got to separate.
No, Joe.
No,
game, go fuck yourself, asshole. Because you said you just got over saying that this was exactly the same thing. You fucking asshole. Okay. I love how you're dancing around it, Joe. I said
it's hard. It's because I don't want to. I don't.
Yeah, don't say it. Let's go to our next voicemail. Let's go to the voice at 916, and I'll relax a little bit, Joe.
There's just not enough time to do everything they have to do. They also still have to get to Salt Lake City. They have to do whatever they have to do there. Like, really, for 9 episodes, 2 episodes left, there really doesn't feel to be enough time
with a maximum of 120 minutes. And keep the
How was Joel's acting this episode? Jesus Christ. They're like, they cast Pedro Pascal in this. He's had maybe like, I don't know, he's spoken maybe 100 words through the whole thing.
And if you really think about it, between this and his part of The Mandalorian where he doesn't have to show his face, like he's doing a one full part. You know, this he doesn't really say anything. In The Mandalorian, he doesn't show his face.
Someone's gonna splice together like either just take the Mandalorian, put him in here, or vice versa, or just take all the dialogue out of the Mandalorian and put it in this.
This week, everybody, you want more Pedro Pascal? In the Mandalorian starts, I believe it's Wednesday as the first episode drops. You want to see more Ellie? Check out Baby Yoda. Anyways, Joe, here's area code 916. He's got the fucking cure too, Joe. He's got the fucking cure for the Jedis.
Hello, this is the voice at 916. Citizens are required to carry their ID cards at all times. Report all signs of infection at your nearest area administrator. And remember, inaction costs lives.
Oh my God, I want her doing my fucking Hanoi Jane shit.
Yeah,
not Hanoi Jane. What is the propaganda on the radio?
Seriously, she could replace Major Barrett. Major Barrett, was that her name, or Major the voice on Star Trek and stuff like that? She could be yes, Captain. I know.
Everybody, please report to the chambers for your shower.
Exactly. I'm in, Joe. I'm going off. Oh my God, the alarms are going off. General Grievous says there should have been more episodes about part 1 of the game. 9 is a little too little. Laura said in the chat earlier, episode 10, Joel's going to be a badass again. There is no unfortunately, yes, that's
yeah.
There is no episode 10.
They like, here's the thing. If I said it before, they completely neutered the character of Joel. Like, yep, yes, they did. They absolutely did.
Are you giving Joel shit tonight? He's stabbed on the ground. You're kicking Joel when he's down
and here's
tonight.
Here's the thing. That this was, so we took him out of this episode now.
Get away from me.
So this episode has, like, again, gone. And then next episode. And that's going to leave one more episode. Joel will be absent most of next episode too.
Right. You'll only leave one more episode this season for Joel and Ellie stuff. Studio 11 says, hey, Phil. Hey, Joe. Still at the studio. Haven't seen the episode yet. But had to stop in and give you guys some love. Sounds like it fell short of delivering enough story tonight.
Honestly, let me ask you a question. Have you seen any moment in this series where Ellie couldn't have just strapped a fucking backpack on and walked her own ass out to fucking Colorado without Joel? Have they made it evident or obvious at any point at all? Or has Joel, like he said, only dragged her into
He
like
taught her to
dangerous
shoot
spots?
in a montage.
Oh, okay, but what, like, has there been anything? That's assuming that was a long gun shot. Can I just use the pistol? She might be used to those. We don't know what Fedra taught her about pistols and shit too, right? We've seen nothing that made Joel necessary in the slightest for this story. Honestly, have you? Have we seen any moment where Joel was fucking a necessary character?
Listen, Tom
dragging
Cruise.
her.
You want to know the
fucking
truth?
Country.
You want to know the truth? You can't handle the truth.
He even gets lost where he has to fucking go harass some poor fucking old couple in the woods. Can you tell me where I am and where I'm going? I don't know. Like, fucking Ellie could have done that. Ellie could have, like, what have we seen? We've seen her be badass now in a flashback and take out that walker that her friend couldn't even really take out alone, like, or took her out with the friend. But like, come on, what?
I mean,
like, maybe she doesn't make it alone, but hey, she might not make it with Joel either because he hasn't done much.
It's
shit.
moral support, Joe. And Laura, I also enjoy Mando. Rick says they dragged the show along, less amount of violence it should have had at this point, and not enough infected at this point. I think I just like the idea of the show instead of the actual show.
Maybe it was the hype I gave upon it that it's not living up to what I expected or what I thought it was going to be.
You might puzzle.
But yeah, no.
You might puzzle. They happen. They do happen. My rants do happen occasionally. Let's not pretend Joe's the only one that rants on this goddamn show. And here we go. We got a voicemail from our good buddy, The Walking David. David, if you're still in the live chat, pub your show that will be on. I believe the first episode dropped. Did you say it dropped tonight? I was seeing you post something about it earlier. But Joe
was Lieutenant. Oh, sorry.
No, were you saying Lieutenant Dan?
Quan, was he in one of the Mortal Kombat movies?
I don't know. He looked familiar.
Or series?
The actor looked familiar to me, though. I couldn't place what I knew him from. And
I want to say he was.
and I thought that was a good scene, too. I thought all the stuff Elliot's school was pretty good tonight. Anyways, here's David's message.
Hey, what's up, Phil? What's up?
Oh, yeah, I do have to spin the wheel in a second.
Hope you guys are doing well this evening. Looking forward to the stream. Some quick thoughts on the episode. I mean, I literally just got done watching it, so it hasn't quite settled in. I'm sure it will be great as the night goes. But I feel like the main problem with this episode is an issue of placement. And what I mean by that is that having this be episode 7 out of 9, I understand that, okay, Joel's incapacitated, and this gives us time to have this injected in. Having said that, if this was put as like the second episode after we're immediately introduced to Ellie and Joel agrees to take her, I think that might have made it flow a little bit better because everybody in that first episode is still getting to know all of the characters, and then the whole second episode kind of explaining who she is or what her background is. But they also kind of yada-yada'd over her background even when showing her background, because like we see her in school for about 2.5 minutes, and then she gets her headphones bitch slapped off her head, and then
just
she's
to establish that she's alone.
It's like, time to go.
Just enough time to establish she's alone at school. Her friend left her. She's got no other friends, and even the administrators are sick and tired of her shit, where they don't care enough to punish her anymore.
With those characters, and what could have been done to remedy that, instead of the long drawn out part at the mall, you could have had 5 minutes of the episode, like 5 minutes showing their relationship building at the school. 5 minutes, here's them 3 months later at the school. So maybe instead of Ellie...
David, absolutely. And instead of telling, they had moments where they had Ellie and her talk about, remember that time at 7-Eleven, doing like the member berry way of telling you instead of showing you. They were breaking like cardinal rules of saying not, of showing not, telling not showing. And I thought there were several moments of that in this episode too, and I thought that's part of what dragged about this episode and in this season in general, Joe. I feel like the way they introduce characters and the way, instead of taking the long game of making, I mean, Ellie has been a central focus, but Pedro and Ellie's dynamic be a central focus. We get characters that get introduced like they matter. It's almost that I don't really know them or anything, like the actress tonight. But maybe if they had found a way to establish that a little bit better in some ways, and as David was saying, maybe show us a little bit of their connection at school and then show us her disappearing and then coming back, it would have felt stronger. But instead, just having her show up, I felt like it wasn't quite as earned.
Oh, don't forget being told your fighting friend isn't here. And then looking
we did get that.
And then looking longingly at the empty bed in her dorm room.
See, I read that wrong then, because I read the bed that she was stuck in the cycle of being at Fedra in the machine of it, and knew that Lights Out was coming soon. But you're right. Now that you say that, that's exactly what was.
She was in her bed, and there was a bed across.
And there was a bed across. She was thinking about her friend.
That was empty.
Yeah, she was thinking about her friend. So I guess you're wrong. I guess I'm wrong. They did.
And she had part 1 of the pun book with her.
Yeah, they did. They did illiterate. I just didn't pick it up and feel it as much as I could have. Here's the rest of David's message.
No,
And keep the voicemails coming. We still have a full voicemail line. Before we get into our recap tonight, we're going to clear the voicemail deck or get a lot of them, because the thing we like the most is getting to hear your voice about these shows as much as what we think, because we're not the only ones. But someone might call, one of these voicemails might be, shut the fuck up, you depressing motherfuckers, like something, stop the madness. It was awesome. And I'm curious to hear that and hear someone tell us we're wrong, or agree with us. We like that too.
Being still like 14 years old in the flashback, she could be maybe like 12. Maybe age her down just a little bit so we get more of the backstory. And you could do that in little bitty chunks, and then you have them all be like the last half of the episode. But the first half could be like 5 or 6 little time skips of explaining their relationship.
Yeah, little like
getting to see the chemistry build, because we would get to see more of an arc. Trying to squeeze it all into one episode.
You know who had an arc, David? Noah had a fucking arc. Sorry.
So it is very, very difficult. As anybody who's ever written a script, it's extremely hard to make a complete arc in a short amount of time. It just really is.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, David. I think several little vignettes would have served the purpose a little bit better to establish relationship dynamics, and then have her disappear, then fade into the gym scene where we see the girl bullying her, and then Ellie beating the shit out of her, and then to the bedroom scenes.
How about this? General Grievous makes a point here too that goes along with what David's saying. General Grievous in the chat says, having episode 3 and episode 7 in the same season makes it it's a bit much. Both of these kind of flashback, big story side character stories, and takes a lot out of a 9 episode season.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, especially with only 9 episodes.
Now, how about, instead of even making this a full episode, again, I hate to go back to this, but you want to put all this material in. Take out that shitty Kathleen stuff, put in some heartfelt moments between Joel and Ellie, where maybe we can even get a flashback scene of where this chick takes off on Ellie, runs away, has been told, you ain't getting into anything good, you're going to go clean shit pots after like a day in fighting in the gym or whatever, if she gets into the fight or whatnot, right? And we just get that, and then like that next day, she's already run away. And then we get a scene last week where she even looks at Joel and says, everybody in my fucking life has fucking left me, right? And we know that. We know that people in her life have left her, that she has no one. We already learned that her mother's gone. Marlene left her at the fucking orphanage. Now this chick is fucking, taken off and run away. But maybe we then get this mall stuff and this left behind, and then some of the setup for David in this episode, instead of having to waste it all on just that mall shit and I don't know, what story that didn't feel.
Joe, I don't know. I don't know what's to happen, but part of me feels like this would have been good to be undercut with her searching for help for Joel. Like they could have put this stuff connected to a different episode and not had it be a whole episode dedicated to it in the sense of what General Grievous is saying. But let's keep getting into our voicemails because we got a bunch of them. I want to make sure we get to all of them here. Let's get to our good buddy. I think this is from Fandom D Saint.
First and foremost, what the hell is up with this new voice now? I missed the old one. But hey, Phil and Joe and motherfucking chat. This is me, Phantom D Saint here. You know, just literally finished watching Left Behind, and I played the video game first several times, even saw Joe play it on, you know, that on Dirty Issues on Gaming Channel. And I'm just watching this episode, and I'm like, you guys really? Come on now, come on. And I've been watching this show since the beginning, and I've been enjoying this adaptation so far. But ever since they put on that female Negan type episode, I'm just like, okay, I see what they're really doing here. But you know what? Let me see how it's going to progress later on. Because I just saw a glimpse of the next episode for next week. I saw that they're going to put David in the episode. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm have some enjoyment for next week. But if they did like a test audience of like people who played the video game, if they did like 2 episodes of the Left Behind DLC, then maybe I would have forgiven them. But, oh my gosh, like at the end of the day, I don't know how this season will end. It's going to be an okay for me adaptation. Like, it's not going to be the best. They had it on that first 2 episodes. But,
3. I'll say 3.
It's an okay adaptation. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Great message from...
And if you're expecting anything other than Negan for David, I think you're going to be wrong. We're not going to get a lot of action. We're going to get a lot of talk. This isn't going to be like, that's what I think anyway.
You think it's going to be more pontificating?
Yep. And benevolency to a degree of whatever.
We shall see.
David.
I don't want to talk too much about next week.
I got a bad feeling about it. Like,
I don't want
that's not how it comes off in the game at all.
So,
but like,
let's wait on that. I don't want to talk too much about next week, just in case I don't want anything to slip out here. Luna says, I disagree with you, Joe. Episodes 3 and 7 contributed positively to the series. Kathleen could have been cut completely. It just wasn't done well. But those 2 episodes were the heart of the series. This episode,
I loved episode 3. Don't get me wrong. What he's saying, what I believe Grievous is saying, is having both of these episodes in this short season took away from the main. You got to remember, this is a DLC. This is an afterthought from the story The Last of Us. This is like this isn't even like shit that ended up on the cutting room floor. This is stuff that like is
they wrote after the fact.
That they wrote after that they might have wanted to put into the story, but they knew it was already way too long and packed full of great story that this didn't need to be there. But for some reason they think now that we've cut it down to, you know, much less time, let's throw this big whopper of a story right in there.
Now, I'm not going to judge it quite yet. This is where
for this episode, the third episode, I still think was great. Where it was, I would win.
This is where we're at different positions. You know what is still yet to come and what they need to get through before the end of the season. For me, I can't answer the question of whether it all worked or not until I see it and see what actually happens and where the time was spent. I'll go a step further to what you're saying about episodes 3 and 7 and what Grievous was saying in the live chat. I see what you guys are saying, but to my point a couple weeks ago, for Phil is always right, or Phil is occasionally right, is that if they forget the casting of Kathleen, that you got the hair across the ass about Kathleen being bad casting, but if you just combine that into one episode, you had one more episode to play with the Joel and Ellie stuff and add a little bit more texture to the story. And then you could put episodes 3 and 7 in the same season. But you did need one more. But maybe when this is all done, it feels rushed to some people, that one extra, maybe not doing 2 episodes in Kansas City would have been the answer, not necessarily cutting 3 introspective character profile episodes that are beneficial to the character of Ellie and just the one-off awesomeness of episode 3. So I guess that's all I'm saying is I think if you had fucked with the Kansas City thing and knocked it into one episode, we're talking a different story. But we're playing the what if game here and that of how this could have been depicted better. But I do see the point that you and Grievous are making.
You can do Kansas City over 2 episodes still. You take out the Kathleen nonsense and you do it the way I said, through the eyes of Joel and Ellie, trying to get through Kansas City for a whole episode even, doing their little action thing, doing their sneak through thing, getting by guys, getting by clickers, getting by runners, and then they run into the other 2. And we see it from all 4 of their eyes, her from windows or from behind corners or from under tables, barking orders, and maybe even some of her monologue crap, which is done so horribly. But like, there's ways to do it that would work far better. That, yes, even the shit I'm saying isn't original, but I guess that's a matter of taste, for which they have none.
I want to say some love to the wonderful AK in the live chat. Fantasy Say It popped out in here. I think Anna is in the live chat as well. We got Peter Griffin and, of course, Tracy G. And I saw the amazing analysis of Thrones, Igor, all of our good friends, Puzzle Cat. The differences between episodes 3 were clearly the acting and just the way that the story was brought down, in the sense of what I was saying about episode 3 had more showing, not telling. We saw the whole beginning, middle, and end of their relationship. And we saw that whole life of their relationship. It was a mini notebook kind of episode. We saw like it all in one. In this, as Joe was saying, we just yada yada the beginning part of their dynamic and was like, oh, they have a dynamic, and then flashed it on screen and had to force immediate chemistry. And that only works if the actors are lightning, and these actors were not lightning with their awkward kid energy, fun chemistry stuff to have the Kevin Arnold, Winnie Cooper chemistry that we needed in this particular episode. You needed that Fred Savage, Winnie Cooper, like, hey kind of vibe, and they didn't quite have that in this episode. They had more like strangers talking, strangers in the night kind of vibe going on that wasn't quite effective for me in a romantic or even a friendship sense. They didn't feel like great friends either. They felt more like adversaries. And even the dialogue of automatically, okay, so they had arguments about Fireflies versus Fedra before, and she just wasn't a Firefly because they seemed to immediately get into my side versus your side. Like, they had done this a long time, even though this was the first time she'd heard that she was a Firefly. And like their rhetoric back and forth was just obvious, like everyone's full of shit. Or I don't know. It seemed a little bit dialogue by the numbers in this episode a little bit. But anyways, Joe, let's get to more voicemails here because we still got 9 voicemails to get to. Keep the voicemails coming. We get the text message. We'll get into our recap in a little bit, but we'll get to all of your voicemails tonight, and keep on calling in. Keep it coming. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share this out, help more people find us. We really do appreciate everyone that's checked us out this season. We're going to be back for 2 more times and all next season as well. It's going to be a fun run to talk about this show, good or bad. People that wanted the Joe rants, here you go. Finally, something Joe cares about. He's not apathetic like The Walking Dead. You can't be apathetic about this one, Joe.
It depends on for how long I have to rant about it.
Very true. Very true. Will they learn? Okay, let's listen to the wonderful Anna from Red Lipstick Club.
Hey, Phil. Hey, Joe. It's Anna from Red Lipstick Club. For the first time, I was bored to fucking death watching this. They were trying to make this couple happen, and it was not happening. Fetch was not happening. So, yeah. I did love the mall scene. I felt like it's kind of feeling like they're more invested in creating the world and, like, having people enjoy the sets and everything like that than bringing, I guess, the story.
I'm going to play the rest of Anna's message, but I just want to jump on that. I agree with everything Anna said so far. It's exactly I'm saying it because it's exactly what Joe said too, but the chemistry just that needed to carry through in this episode just wasn't there. And it's hard because that's just something that you don't know till it's on screen. And if you rely on an episode carrying something like that, it's just tough. And it came off more as a wet sponge. Anyways, let's play the rest of Anna's message.
Having people enjoy the sets and everything like that, then bringing, I guess, the storylines. And you know me, I'm like really queasy when it comes to certain action, but even I was like, damn, where's the action at? And they only got that one sequence at the end, I just thought it was weird. I think they definitely should have made Fedra look like a total shithole. I highly doubt these kids in military school would have such a pleasant fucking experience.
Yeah, and I'm gonna continue with Anna too. And they made Ellie. They gave us that one gray positive character with the general guy. With her, it seemed like a pretty guy. Yeah, it seemed like a pretty good guy. So to make it seem not that Fedra, is Fedra okay in this situation? And they set that up a little bit too much fence dwelling. This isn't me making a decision. This is a show. Make a choice. God damn it.
And I thought that should have been just super fucking shitty, and they should have totally showed that. And that would have been amazing to see that. And then for them to not run into one infectus, one looter, there's no way in hell that this young kid's the only person that's figured out that the mall is somewhere you should go.
Yes.
So I wasn't buying that. They were making way too much noise, and we could have cut 4 minutes of the damn Mortal Kombat playing. I didn't need to see them playing Mortal Kombat for
twice
for 4 minutes.
So
we'll play the rest of your message in a second, Anna.
When there's no sound at all, right? When the city falls fucking quiet and you're in the middle of nowhere and someone turns on a mall full of power and stores with music and generators and lights and the noise, it would echo and boom.
Joe,
it would be this like hum through miles, bouncing off of buildings.
I feel like if all the cars weren't running and everything was shut off, if I played my trumpet out my window,
I would hear you. Where
you would hear it.
Quarter mile away, half a mile away.
Yeah,
half a mile. Yep.
Yeah. You would hear.
I would hear you. No problem. No problem whatsoever.
And yeah, I agree. The sound was ridiculous.
Even if you did it in your house.
Yeah, 100%.
Her shooting her ass at the end. Maybe they didn't show it because ultimately maybe she's not really dead. And they actually ended up sending her off to Atlanta. Maybe they wanted to send each one of them to 2 different coasts to have them tested. And maybe we're seeing like this like second generation of kids. Maybe they're having an immunity to it, or maybe there was like a vaccine that second generation or their parents got maybe a vaccine prior to having those kids, and maybe that's what's making them immune to it. I don't know, but either way, I wasn't very impressed. Hopefully they'll redeem themselves next week.
Yeah.
Love you both. Bye.
And I know I've talked to Anna now a couple years on different podcasts. That's one of the most annoyed with a television show I've ever heard Anna in her voice. She definitely Anna say that. Did you hear I sounded annoyed? Yes. You had your voice was tightened up. You're like no, I did not feel this episode. Anna's usually more relaxed. She was like, nope, did not feel this shit. So again, and this is coming from people that because this was such, from what you said at the beginning, Joe, this was a good 1-for-1 depiction of what this DLC was. You got to figure that this episode was more for people like me or Anna that haven't necessarily seen it before, and we were kind of bored with this.
Yeah.
So
and I don't know if you looked up in the mall, like, and saw the ceiling of skylights.
Oh, they're not going to see it. Yeah, again,
poured out and lit up the night sky.
I ask again, Joe, which mall in Boston is this that no one's going to see shit? I just want to know. I just want to fucking know. Come on, just tell me.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. Okay, speaking of, I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I don't know what anyone's gonna say, but I was gonna say, speaking of ridiculous, let's go to this caller. But no, I'm kidding. I'm not saying ridiculous. But let's go to area code 304.
Hey, Phil and Joe, it's Mad Sinister here. Great recap as always. I'm always looking forward to these recaps more than these episodes. How about the episode?
I don't know. I appreciate that compliment, but I don't know if the show creators would necessarily love that, or the HBO podcast people would be like, no, watch our show. We're the official fucking HBO podcast. We're gonna shove the smoke. And I love Troy. You did great. You're an amazing voice actor and an amazing podcasting host. And I'm just envious of your job, Troy.
Here, great recap as always. I'm always looking forward to these recaps more than these episodes. I thought the episode was okay tonight. I feel like the DLC should not be a part of the show. But I also, and especially not showing Riley's fate. I thought that was weird. I also thought the chemistry though should be awkward because I felt like Ellie didn't know if Riley was into her like that. So she was kind of
True.
But
it didn't feel like that kind of awkward.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Feel like
it felt like bad acting awkward.
Yes.
I don't want to be that person.
Yes, that's how it felt.
I don't want to be that. And both actors are good actors. I've seen them in other things, in other scenes in this show, or not with the other actress, but Riley. But I've seen Riley in other stuff. Like, they're both good actors. They just had no chemistry. And I'll put it to real life situations. There's been people that you've been involved with, I've been involved with. You meet them, you vibe with them from a personal level, and you get in the situation, you have no chemistry. In acting, when you work with someone, there's people that you get, and no matter how talented you are, you get with them, and the chemistry is sometimes it doesn't work.
They recast whole roles because they don't
Eric
work.
Stoltz in friggin' because he didn't have chemistry with Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future, because he was too serious and he didn't really have great comedic timing and that's not even a romantic situation, but they've cast entire roles.
Chemistry is big. If you sometimes not liking the person you work with is able to bring the kind of chemistry that the roles need. Sometimes you should really like the person you work with. Other times when you fucking hate that person and it can show on screen. I'm not saying they do hate each other in the slightest.
No.
I'm just saying, as far as showing us that they're awkwardly interested in each other, that's not what I was feeling.
And again, I don't want to belabor the point because there's other examples of it too, where this has worked. But I'll say again, Wonder Years, Kevin Arnold and Winnie Cooper play the same sort of thing. I'm not sure if I'm into you. I'm not sure if I'm into you. I'm not sure if I'm into you. And it works better. It's certain actors just have that kind of dynamic. The
Honeymooners.
These two actors. Yeah, I'm gonna pop you to the
not
moon.
the Honeymooners. I forget what it was. Never mind. I was going to say the Bruce Willis thing.
Moonlighting. But yes.
Moonlighting.
Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis had the fucking chemistry. Had the fucking intense back and forth.
Who's the boss?
Who's the boss? Mona and everybody. No, but yeah, Tony. But yeah, they had that kind of energy. Sam and Diane have that kind of
energy. Sam and motherfucking Diane.
No one can argue like Shelley Long and Ted Danson. They just kill it when they're on screen.
And then kiss.
and then kiss, and then make up.
And make you believe that they both hated each other and wanted to kiss.
Exactly. And
those aren't necessarily the examples of what these two are trying to show us on screen.
No, but
or the directors are trying to get them to show us. But whatever that happens to be, they didn't do it.
Exactly. Whatever they were trying for didn't work. And these are adults. These aren't kid actors. I know they're playing kid actors, so I can feel like I can be harder on them because we're not trashing kid actors. We're trashing adults. This is I don't know how old Riley is, but Bella's 19. She's an adult actor. I am judging her as an actor, not even though she's playing a 13-year-old.
Yes, they are. They're an adult actor.
They're actors. They're actors. So we're judging the actors. And Joe, you're saying the fucking the roller coaster, not the roller coaster, the escalator was bullshit.
I'm saying the escalator was bullshit. Yes.
Fucking bullshit. Okay, let's continue with this, and let's go.
It was just kind of awkward.
It was just kind of awkward. Yeah,
perfect. Should have been. I also loved the Mortal Kombat scene. I thought that was cool.
Yep.
And shout out to my boy Scorpion. Get over here.
Yeah.
And also a shout out to my second favorite character, the underrated Cabal.
I always liked Raiden because he was in Big Trouble in Little China. Only because he was randomly in Big Trouble in Little China, and I knew him from that. And I know it's different or it's whatever, but it's fucking Raiden. It's Raiden's in that fucking movie.
He was played by McLeod in the first movie, wasn't he?
I think something like that. Something like that.
I do have a couple of questions. I also want to say that when it comes to Joel, I'm glad that they didn't wait until episode 8 to show that he's still alive. I thought that if you haven't played the game, to wait a full episode until episode 8 to find out that he's still alive, I thought that would be pretty bad. But I'm glad they went that route at least.
I also like that.
So,
yeah.
In the game, before you find out that she's gotten him into some house somewhere, right? Because he has to pull himself off a pipe. They still have to get out of the building, and he's already like he's already about to.
And
like,
we'll play the rest of your
pass
voice
out,
in a second.
and they get away, and then it cuts to winter, and she's out hunting rabbits, and you don't know that Joel's
Joe,
back
I don't think
at a house somewhere.
I don't think you said that right. Don't you mean hunting rabbits?
Yeah. She's out hunting rabbits, and then like a deer, and like so you don't know that Joel's still alive yet. So they do tease it and make you wait a little bit in the game. Unlike here, they kind of just show you right away that that she fashioned some sort of rudimentary raft from Twix and berries and snowballs or some shit, and dragged him, or like used his sleeping bag to drag him with the horse to this place.
She's like a Smurf. She has Twix and berries.
Yeah.
Dolphin times. They should have played Tekken. Mortal Kombat sucks. I was gonna say the same thing about Street Fighter. Dolphin times. I thought they had good chemistry. They did a good job in replicating the game. Lunar Incognito says this is one of those episodes that makes good arguments. Red Lipstick says, I mean, I'm straight, but if another woman is attractive to me, which I think we know, if someone feels attractive, you can feel that connection. You can feel that energy.
You feel it all. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You feel it. You know when someone wants you, and you know when someone is like,
you can feel.
I don't think they want me like I want them.
Yeah, you can feel if you're at all not narcissistic.
But it is difficult and to act on or to know when you are younger.
Yeah, and it's awful, and it's also difficult to interpret those feelings and understand if it's your perspective or you're actually seeing the real situation. So I get the awkwardness. I get playing the awkwardness. I think several actors have played awkwardness like that on screen. I'm not necessarily thinking about them, but any teenage drama or teenage movie with John Hughes directing, they've been teenagers that play this awkward sort of I like you but I don't like you, I can't quite show you, play the like you thing. Molly Ringwald plays it really freaking well with anyone she wants to put. You put Molly Ringwald with anyone, she's gonna play awkward teenage
Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks is the whole series. Linda Cardini is another one, could play that awkward thing up your ass. Jason Segel can play that awkward thing up all of them can do that. But I'm saying, like,
when they were that age,
when they were 19 or 20 years old, they could play that awkward energy. And I'm not saying Bella can't play it. I'm saying that whatever they did tonight didn't work.
And that he's still alive in this episode. I got two questions. I think that these questions are for Joe since he's played the game.
Do it, Joe.
The first question is, would you rather be a part of Fedra or the Fireflies? And kind of like which one is worse? And also
the first question, Joe, if you were in this world, are you a member of Fedra or are you a member of the Fireflies, dude? In Boston, the Fireflies in Boston, dude.
Can I be a member of the Killer City Elite? Deaf Kid Hunters instead.
Wicked, dude. You played grounded mode. You can do whatever you want.
Can I be a clicker instead?
You want to be a clicker? Is that really?
Can I be a clicker?
Do you want to have free will as a clicker? Like, are you going to be like the V clicker where you're like half?
The one that runs around and makes out with the hot chicks.
the one that kills Tess with makeouts.
Yeah, that's the clicker. Can I be that clicker?
Can you be the makeout clicker?
I want to be the makeout clicker. That's the faction I want to belong to. No, if I had to belong to it, can I also choose the communist?
You can choose
Jacksonville, because Jackson is.
Oh yeah, if I'm gonna live in Jackson.
If I'm gonna have to choose one of these factions, Jacksonville, Fedra, Killer City, or Jackson Hole, Firefly, or just plain citizen, I guess I choose Jackson. They seem to be like the coolest town so far, but like honestly, I just want to be out in the fucking mountain with Northern Exposure couple hunting rabbits and shit.
Hunting rabbits. Joe wants
soup.
Lona says
staying away from that side of the river.
Lone not living in a van down by the river. Dolphin says, I would start my own group called the Saviors. Oh, stop it, Dolphin.
Oh yeah.
You get a bat, call it Lucille. Carlo Wade, I'd want to be Bill or Frank. Great to see amazing Carlo Wade in the live chat. Loner Incognito says Joe just wants to make out with Anna Tover. Get Clicker Joe got spaghetti coming out of his mouth. Mad Sinister says, yep, he's the clicker who killed Kathleen. Joe the clicker killed Kathleen. I know it. He did.
The second question is, do you think next week will be the best episode? From someone that has played the game, I think that next week is going to be definitely the best.
Okay.
So far, still I'm on episode 3 is the best episode of this season.
3?
3.
Okay. So right now you're.
And it's nothing. No part of it. Like
for
literally.
For me, it's
almost no part of it's from the game.
For me, it's 1 or 3. I think the premiere was really good too. The premiere was really good. And so Joe,
yes, number 1 was really.
You were saying this earlier tonight. Before the
it's a close call.
I think before the caller or before the caller left that voicemail or after the caller left that voicemail. You're concerned about next week. After seeing previews for next week, and
I didn't watch the previews. I just heard like the first 2 seconds where they said his name, David.
Right.
So I didn't even know that for sure. And I heard like a voice as I was putting my coat on to go pick up Katie real quick.
But you're a little dubious at this point. The show has lost you at this point, basically, right?
So I guess it hasn't lost me as far. I'm still gonna watch the rest of the season. On Sunday night, I'm still gonna be here for every podcast.
But
I have not Vikinged it.
No, and in fairness, this is the most invested in the podcast you've been in years.
Like I really, this is my favorite franchise video game.
Yeah. So I mean, so you're not out in any way. What I mean is, for the most part, this season you're still on the fence. They have 2 more episodes.
I'm saying for what I was waiting for what I was expecting, for who was cast in it, the expectations I have not been met. So if I lower my expectations to, they're putting out this on C-dubs.
No, stop with the CW. Stop the CW. This is not Arrow.
On TVS, or they're putting it out on even AMC. For that matter,
okay,
right?
That's better. This isn't Arrow. Can we stop with the hyperbole Arrow bullshit? This isn't Arrowverse crap.
I'm not as my expectations, if it's on a different network, are far less. On one of these other networks, I'm thinking the type of writing I'm going to get is this Kathleen shit, not this Frank and Bill shit.
Okay, but we've gotten both, so it's still hard to decide what we're going to get in the long run.
But honestly, it really, at this point, we have gotten both. But the amount of the amount of Frank and Bull is a lot fucking less than the amount of Kathleen twat. Like just is.
The school is still out on that joke because even though you were angry last week, I really
I'm not even just talking about like Kathleen. I'm talking about like all that fits in.
Yeah, but last week,
railed against.
This is where I got angry last week at you. Or not angry, but in the sense of what you're saying is true. But last week was an amazing episode too. I feel like last week was a good episode of television, Joe. Like, it was still a good episode. It was the best Pedro and Bella together episode that we got. So I think. I still think I've liked 4 of the episodes this year, and I haven't liked 3. So for me, if I'm making where does this season end up in the end? They still have 2 episodes to push me over the edge that this was a good season.
So here's the thing.
It's not going to be classic, amazing television, but last week was a good episode.
Like I said, it's pedestrian TV.
It's good.
There's nothing.
It's okay.
If I lower my expectations to what it would have been, should it have been on one of these other networks, I'm getting pretty much what I thought I would be getting. But having it come out on HBO, having it be with the actors that are in it that were cast
in that Sunday night at 9 o'clock,
the
Sunday night at 9 o'clock
Sunday night slot, all the things that come along with what it is that the production brings, you think you're getting something completely different than at first you were, and that has shown to not be the case.
But
steadily declining as we go.
But if they turn it around in these final 2 episodes and stick the landing of the end of the game, because I assume we're hitting the climax of the game.
At this point, I'm telling you, I know how the game winds out, right? And
I'm excited to see how
very good, and I really love it.
What if they stick that perfect? What if they stick that perfect, Joe?
Here's the thing: stick it fucking perfect, and stick it up your ass for making me sit through 4 other hours of fucking bad shit to get to a good moment. Like, there's so much more. Like, it really doesn't matter how good the ending of something is if you can't get if this book, the ending of this book is great. If you can just sit through the first 150 pages of it and get through that,
That's a little.
But then the next 600 pages really bring you to the ending. It's like, what?
But
like
Joe, I don't know if I
just for it to start getting good.
I don't know if I agree with that particular analogy in the sense I agree with what you're saying right there, but like if a rock band plays a good first song and the middle songs in the set are shitty, but they end the set strong too, you'll remember that band being good.
Yeah. You'll remember that album being great.
If it starts good. No, but it starts and ends good.
That single was fucking awesome, and I went out and bought that album.
Yeah, you bought the whole album.
The rest of the album sucked.
Yeah, but you still remember your good times listening to that fucking
your
band.
First 3 episodes where, the first 3 songs on the album were great, but the next 10 really sucked, were horrible. Couldn't listen to fucking
Joe,
one of them. Come on now.
Joe, you know what time it is? It's about that time.
And actually, as far as albums go, an album that's got 3 hit songs is considered a really fucking good album.
Oh,
even if the other 7 to 9 songs on it are absolute crap.
Especially these days, Joe's. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this recap. Okay, it's time for this recap, Joe. Oh my goodness.
Oh yes, let's do it.
Oh, is it? Well, dog. No, go back. Go lay down on the couch.
Dog.
Yes, it's Daryl Dixon's dog, Joe. I'm watching Daryl Dixon's dog here tonight.
Oh,
listen, dog. Will dog be in the Daryl Dixon series? We still have 8 voicemails and a text message. If you put something in the live motherfucking chat and I didn't get to it, please text on in if I missed it. 781-990-8509.
Not the original dog. The original dog died of cancer.
It did?
Ate chocolate.
Oh, poor dog.
No, I don't know.
Why are you saying that? I
don't know.
Why are you being a horrible person and crushing children's dreams, Joe? Shut the fuck up.
Santa Claus ain't real.
Oh, stop it, Joe. You're horrifying children. Horrifying children, you horrifying person, you. Okay, so, Phil, you need to make a customized intro like you did for Game of Thrones. Which one did I do? What did I do for the Game of Thrones? You mean like the random songs that I had, like the auto song, has the voice of 916 called. Yes, but we have one. But we have one more. Here we go.
Hello, this is the voice at 916 calling again. The previous voicemail was taken directly from the game, and I just had to do it. It was too delicious. But the reason I'm calling this time is because, we needed...
Oh, the Fresh Prince thing. I do. I need to do something like that. We need to make another one, or the zombie apocalypse one we did with Joe. And I'm going to put that as the pre-release video for next week's, for people that didn't see that, How to Survive in the Zombie Apocalypse. It's appropriate for this universe, too.
To have an episode to really realize the youth and the viewpoint of Ellie and her backstory. It was absolutely necessary. But what I think would have made this episode better is if they would have switched back and forth as to what she was doing at the time of going to retrieve medications for Joel and flashback to what was happening with her and Riley. That could have combined both situations and with putting action and character building and character development in the same episode.
916. Don't you know you got to get off of this action thing? That's not what this series is about. It's about character building only. fuck all of you who bought the game because it was a first-person shooter.
You're
fuck
just
your
bloodthirsty.
Action, fuck your zombies.
Bloodthirsty.
It's about the characters and the human moments.
She's just
You gotta separate yourself from this action thing.
No, Joe, what she needs to do is separate herself from the game. Bloody hell. Oh, my goodness. Oh, jeez. No,
It was a missed opportunity. I will agree on that point. But I do think that this episode was necessary to see Ellie's backstory. They just could have configured it a lot better to give us more of the action and the character development that is necessary to keep in the time frame.
Yeah.
I agree, and maybe they even could have sprinkled it throughout the season.
Yeah.
Or dotted it throughout the season, so that way, even though you're not getting more Riley than you did for one episode's worth, right? They dot it through. Maybe you do start to feel like you should care about this person because it's someone that Ellie cares about, not just oh, this is someone Ellie remembered. All right, done.
Yeah, no, and they have to keep doing that too, and they could have littered that stuff in when she said it to Joel for a second. You see a flash. Not like they haven't done flashbacks before this point in this season. Someone says the Dick On song. I can't take credit for the Dick On. That's one of the call-offs. We highly recommend callers calling in and leaving songs and stuff, but I'll work on trying to come up with a Last of Us song. I'll talk to Joe. Maybe we can come up with some ideas.
We can do something.
We need some Dick On stuff. Maybe we can get Carla Wayne involved too. Phil, you need to make a customized intro. You need to do it. We need more Mortal Kombat. We got the great Lola in the live chat too. Thank you, everyone. If you're in the live chat right now and you haven't already, hit the like button. Share this out to more people. Help get even more folks in here. We really do appreciate it. Let's listen to the end of 916 message, get into a little bit of a recap here, and we're going to keep taking all your voicemails and text and live motherfucking chat for a while more here. Keep it coming. Talking about episode 7 of The Last of Us. And as we start to have to look at the end of the series now, with only series 1 with only 2 episodes left.
Right. So we don't feel rushed as we already are for the ending.
Perfect,
but
David.
Anyway, thank you for the time, and please ask Katie Crow what her opinion is too. I'm curious.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it as soon as we're done here tonight. Katie Crow and I will go on and watch. I can tell you that Katie, here you go, 916. Katie, get in here.
You've been beckoned. So we got the crow flying on him.
Don't make me yell into you twice. Now Joe, get your little tight buns in here.
Joe, you don't want to make things awkward.
All right.
You're taking it too far, Joe. Take it too far.
Overall, the last 2 episodes, what have you thought? There you go.
There we go. That's a Katie Crow original. There you go.
There you go. That's what she thought. She doesn't think it's special. She thinks the actors are doing good jobs. The writing is a little.
Joe, that was no. You don't review splain for her. That was the most perfect review I've ever heard in my life.
That's it.
Yeah.
One more time, Katie.
There you go. People that want to hear.
Walk them little tight buns out of there.
Now get out of here. Get out of here, girl. Now, people that wanted Phil, Joe, and Katie back together, there you go. You got it. She
doesn't have a little tight bump. She doesn't. She does. She has a great, nice ghetto booty ass. Ghetto, yeah.
Leave the crow. Don't sexually harass a bird, Joe. That's just not.
She got the ghetto booty. Katie ghetto booty.
So let's get into this.
My little KGB. My red sparrow.
Joe, I don't want to hear about your love games.
Katie ghetto booty. That's actually part of her.
That's part of your little nickname for her. What the fuck?
I didn't make it. Alex, Eddie, Becky, they thought of it because she does. She got a nice little booty.
Okay, well, let's not talk.
That booty.
You're getting the live chat too excited here. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So we get back in. We open up our episode and we're in Town's housing panning house. And we're gonna get to all your voicemails. Keep calling on in 781-990-8509. We're in miles in the snow. We see some horses. We see some blood. Ellie is trying to take care of Joel. He's telling her to leave. And she tells him, Joe, did you hear this? Did you hear what Ellie told Joel? And she said, and I quote, "Shut the fuck up, Joe."
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Joel.
Joel. Oh, where's Tim? Is he watching this shit?
I don't know if Tim's watching this show, but he occasionally will send me an email and share his thoughts on like the final season of The Walking Dead and some other shows. But lots of love to Tim. Lots of love to Tim. Justin Quarantine says, no, Joe. Let Joe keep going describing Katie's butt. Justin Quarantine, can we get visual aids, please? Tom P, hey.
She won't let me. She will not let me post any visual aids.
Stop it, Joe. Tom P, I was kidding. You're supposed to say shut up, Phil. Tom P says, hey, what's up, Phil? We got Tom P. I haven't seen Tom P in a long time. We can see Tom P in the left.
There are none. She won't even let me take any visual aids.
Oh,
I got to work off memory.
Stop it. There's no memories. So Ellie's trying to take care of Joel. He tells her to leave, says shut the fuck up. He tells her to go to Tommy. She covers him in a blanket and says, I'm not leaving you, you asshole. She looks at him apprehensive. She goes through her door. And I thought this was a fun camera transition as they transition to dark to a song, some intentional music that had to be in the game as she's into the gym listening to Pearl Jam. And we get some backstory. It seems like she has some rival at school that wants to kick her.
Is that what she was listening to? I didn't even
was
catch
it Pearl Jam?
I wasn't even catching what she was listening to. I was like trying to shove a burger in my face or something. I don't know. I wasn't listening to what.
Again,
she was,
I don't want to hear.
Very rare. I don't pay attention to the sound, to the music like that.
You're trying to shove a burger in your face. I don't want to hear about what you're doing with Katie. Off screen. Hey now.
Actually, it wasn't hers. It was Wendy's.
Hey now. Oh, Wendy. Oh yeah. Hey now. Anyway, sorry. You guys wanted 06 How for a second there. Here you go. Okay, so Tom says it's been a minute. Glad to be here. Glad to have you, Tom. I don't care if anyone's alive. Motherfucking chatter that's been here even once and hasn't been here a few, like Tom. It's been a while. You're welcome here as ever, my friend. Welcome back. Tom was a huge supporter of us back in the day, and we appreciate you popping your head back in, and we hope anytime that you have the time, we appreciate joining us on this silly freaking ride. Okay, Lola, it was Pearl Jam. Okay, that's what I thought. It sounded like Eddie. It sounded a little bit like Eddie. The theme song of The Last of Us sounds a lot like the theme song to HBO's Carnival. Carnival's one of those underrated HBO shows that didn't last too long, but was also very well done, as most of HBO stuff does. I saw Pearl Jam a couple times live during like the Versus tour early on, and then one other time. They do put on an excellent live show. So we get some backstory. She has a rival. Joe, this is a tough episode to recap because a lot of this is I'm going to be recapping dialogue. And I feel like the worst thing in the world for telling you that they say this back and forth. So Ellie and her, she wants to kick her ass, but her buddy left, and they talk about this, and you're not tough without your friend, but she's still tough.
Ellie shows her.
Yeah, she still kicks her ass, and I thought this was important for Ellie.
Put her in the infirmary.
So Ellie is a badass, Joe, and we haven't necessarily seen that yet. Is that an effective aspect of her character?
We didn't even see it here, dude.
Why didn't they show it to us, dude? This was weak.
They're not showing us any.
Why are they cutting away from the fucking vibe? But they showed us the other girl hitting her. So why didn't we see?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she ran up to her and she fucking punched her.
Oh no, she just knocked the headset off.
Yeah, and she got a black eye for the fight.
No, from the fight.
Oh yeah, they cut away from the. Why don't we see the fucking fight?
Like she runs up, she knocks the headset off her head, and then talks some shit, and then the last thing she says, "You're not the fighter." And we get a look from Ellie in the camera, and then her sitting in the chair with
and then they cut to the fight. Well,
cut away from.
Did we did our parents get upset at us and we're having to go to bed without dessert? Like, I'm not saying I need.
This is a violent fucking game, and they completely removed any semblance of violence.
In fairness, though, right? I don't think necessarily excessive violence. Let me finish. Excessive violence in the sense of every story point is necessary. But if you cut it in every situation, it's also ridiculously noticeable. Like if you cut it in situations where it organically should flow, that you should see the end part of this fight. If she turned around in that moment, then got into a fist fight with this girl and beat the living fucking piss out of her, and we're supposed to know this about her character, it's important to fucking see it.
It was just like what Joel did
to the guy that killed his daughter. And that
no, not to the guy that killed his daughter, to the guy that
to the other guy.
To the tunnel when they are escaping coming out of Boston.
Exactly. And why when she looked at him, she sort of was like understood that they were kindred souls in that moment to connect the tissue of why she feels so connected to Joel. So if you see that same look in her eyes doing that, I wonder, did they shoot it and it looked stupid so they had to cut it? Because it seems like you would want to shoot that, right? Is it in the game? Did they show Ellie beating the shit?
No, there's no school craft like that in the Left Behind. It's basically just the mall shit, from what I remember. Maybe like she comes to her window in the dorm room or some at lights out or something.
But okay, and again, I don't
remember it from the game. It might be in the game. I've only played the Left Behind once because ultimately, it's mostly story. It's the action. You get to have a squirt gun fight. You get to throw bricks at a car window. You get to fight a few clickers, but like mostly it's just their backstory that you're going for. So I didn't ever feel like it was something I needed to play more than the once or twice I did play it.
Joe,
unlike the game, which I played like 6 times.
I don't think I'm not somebody that craves crazy violence. I like introspective, slow kind of shit sometimes. But as Puzzle Cat says, this is HBO. I don't want PG level 13 violence. I don't want them to cut away.
This is network shit. This is pedestrian TV.
And I don't want them to cut away from it every time. We don't need to see every time Joel puts a gun to someone's head and see the brains blow out all over my fucking screen or my clean fucking clothes and television show. But like I do in this situation, we should have seen Ellie throw down with this girl.
They made something that wasn't going to offend anyone's senses.
So we get into the Fedra's principle.
Aside from the maybe like the bigots out there.
So we get into the Fedra's principal's office, and she got real fucked up. And Bethany kicked her ass, and she kicked Bethany's ass 11 stitches, and she's in the hospital. And I thought this was one of the better scenes in the episode. He's like, you have two choices: to be a grunt and deal with people like Bethany for the rest of your life, or you can get good and become one of the leaders and say fuck you and become an officer. And she's like, I'm going to become an officer. Give me my Walkman back. And she basically decides to go the Fedra officer route in this situation. We get to her room. We see dinosaurs. We see her pun book. She's reading comics, and it's heavy raining out. It's 1:53 in the morning after she's gone to sleep. Someone comes through her window,
and the raining has stopped.
And her conveniently, right when her friend shows up, pulls a joke and tries to grab her in the bed. Joe, I love you, and if I haven't seen you in a long time, I'm never gonna try to sneak into your bedroom and and wake you up that way.
Dude, I don't know how many times in this big, huge, extremely quiet, creaky, noisy house I've walked around at 2 a.m. through my life, or whatever place I lived in, with some sort of bat in my hand, or just fists clenched. Like, did someone just open my door? Am I about that, like, acts of violence? Somebody in the jump on someone naked and kill them? Like, I'll stay naked when the police show up just to show them exactly how I did it.
Joe, you just like being naked. Let's get to a couple voices.
Oh, I'm always like, I had to put on clothes to come, I had to go pick up Katie, but then to come sit in front of this, like, yeah, no, I got pants on.
Yeah, I mean, I got PJs on, but Joe.
But when I sleep naked. So like, you sneak into my room and grab me in the middle of the night.
Now,
there might be some problem.
Okay, Joe. Here's someone that always calls us to task about our opinions here. So our good buddy, friend of the show, legend caller, the one and only Jay SM Down. Let's see how Jay puts us in our place tonight.
Hey Joe, just a thought.
Wait, I'm gonna rewind your message because I know he likes when I put it. Whenever this isn't going good for you, Joe. Joe, just a thought. Maybe you stop being a bitch and you just watch the show and you stop being a crybaby bitch. I don't know if that's where this is going, but it seems like that's
it's probably going there.
Hey Joe, just a thought. You don't like this show. You stopped liking The Walking Dead after a certain point, and maybe I don't know if you ended up liking the way
stop being a bitch, Joe.
that other who's that other HBO show that you guys
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. But do you ever think maybe
it's just
you doing this show is starting to curse your liking of the shows you watch?
That is hilarious.
Like,
quit the
you're
podcast,
just destined
Joe.
to not like
That's
shows
hilarious.
that you review on this channel.
That's hilarious.
That would be a sucky revelation.
Yeah.
All right. Later.
So Joe, you want to quit?
Yes.
You got to quit the podcast. You got to quit.
This is hilarious. So,
am I Joe? Am I ruining your love for television?
So today, Katie and I, before Katie went to work, put on the television.
I ruined Joe.
And I put on. There was nothing on Sunday afternoon, like nothing. And I put on just for noise, Twister.
Yeah.
And Katie was like, "Oh my god, this movie's awful. I've only ever seen bits and pieces of it. Helen Hunt is god awful. Yada 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 yada." And she grabs it. I said, "Whatever. I just put it on because it's one of the 6 movies Helen Hunt is in a row that like she's in the rain in a white T-shirt."
Yep, with not as good as it gets.
Castaway, As Good as It Gets.
And this one, yeah.
Twister, and the list goes on and on. And anyway, she goes on. She starts to change the channel. She puts on Roadhouse.
Swayze, yeah. Swayze.
And Swayze's like diving into the water, into the pool to get with his chick. And I go, I don't know. I'd rather wet T-shirt chick Helen Hunt than this chick.
Oh, but you got Sam Elliott too, Joe. Sam Elliott.
Right, you do. Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze
together. That's too much.
Over Paxton and Hunt.
Yeah,
right?
come on. Come on,
they
Joe.
win.
Get
They
your head
should
out of your
win,
ass,
right?
Joe. Katie's
but
right.
I was thinking tight, wet, white T-shirt. And she was right. She was completely right. Now to make this longer story even longer,
it's a very pointless story. Let's go.
She starts analyzing Twister. And she's like, "This is fucking stupid. They're running away from a fucking mile-wide Twister that's pulling barns out of the ground and throwing trees at the car, but they're just running away just fine and all this shit." And she goes, "See, this is what your show fucking did to me. Yeah. I can't watch any fucking thing at all." And I'm like, you know what? Yes.
So
yes,
again, this is all my fault.
But it's too late.
This is all my fault. I've ruined television for you and Katie. It's all my fucking fault. Thank you.
And it's not really your fault because we've been doing this together for a while, calling out shows.
Yes,
like
we have.
Before this show,
about 10 years, 9 years.
Even Heroes, I was like, after season 1, I was like, I can't, dumb. And I told you all the reasons.
No,
why.
and we've talked about this before. We were doing this show in your driveway for a few years before we did this show.
So
yeah, when I was doing my regular radio show, and we were playing Warcraft, we'd argue about television in between those moments that I was on the air. Occasionally, I would have you on the air, but on my radio show, I didn't really talk about TV. I talked more current events, and I played music. So so it was more that it was a different show. I occasionally would talk TV, but I think at that point I was talking like Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and Glee or something like I'd mention them randomly on the radio show, but it was much more. I did interviews
because there was a news story about somebody or something.
Right,
like that,
but basically my radio show was more news stories. Like I would just read like current events and stuff like that. Anyways,
so yeah, no, it wouldn't. The show isn't what did it to me. I was already doing it to myself. It's just now, Jay. You get to now agree with me about everything. You get to see exactly why the shit that you thought was so great really isn't.
Okay, so let's get.
Everybody gets to. Everybody gets to wallow in my misery.
Yeah, misery loves Joe's
company.
Misery
does love my company, and I'm going to let you all enjoy it with us.
Misery fucking loves Joe's company a lot. Okay, so let's go back. Let's get ready to go back to the mall. Today, let's go to the mall today, and Puzzle Cat.
Yeah, I came in on you The sparkles.
The sparkles.
Yes.
We got sparkles in the live chat here. Okay, so Puzzle Cat goes, sorry, I gotta take a pause. I'm having some inappropriate thoughts about Sam fucking Elliott. Put your Joe emojis. If you're one of our wonderful, amazing channel members, put your Joe emojis in the live chat right now. So 1:53 a.m. All is quiet on the Western Front. She kicks off. She draws Riley's hair. She's playing a joke. And right from the beginning, Joe. Right from the beginning, I didn't buy these two. Ellie's, and they go back.
Right from when she pulls out the knife and like takes 2 steps towards her, like someone grabbed you in the middle of the night. Like those 2 steps towards her are like a flying lunge. Like I don't know. She should have stabbed her friend there. Like, she should have been a lot closer to doing it or not doing it at all.
Yeah, I mean, instead we got a little weird standoff where she's like, I'm going to stab you. It's like, no.
Yeah, let me turn the light on quick before I stab you.
Before I stab you. Is that what we know about Ellie? No. Okay, so we find out that yada, 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 Riley joined the Fireflies, yada, yada, yada. They have a lot of, Ellie has abandonment issues, yada, yada, yada. It's 2 a.m.
They like lights and horses,
yada yada yada. They like each other.
They don't like thongs,
yada yada yada. They like each other.
They really like the escalator, yada yada yada.
Yada yada yada. They had a situation in 7-Eleven that we didn't see that sounded really cool, but it would have been
this mall has the only working escalator in Boston.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet, Joe. So,
even non-working one.
Joe, leave the escalator alone, you asshole. So, you forgot about the amazing thing that happened in 7-Eleven, Joe. Remember that time you and me were we went to the mall? Remember that time you and I went to the mall? It was great, right? It was awesome. So Fedra's stupid. They have no guards, but they almost get caught. They talk about the thing at the 7-Eleven that we didn't see, but they talk about, and this is what I was talking about, where we just get the exposition dialogue stuff, which is as Dave was saying, writing a script is tough. And sometimes you got to put that exposition dialogue shit in there. You have to hope it doesn't stand the fuck out. And it stood the flying fuck out here that they have adventures. This isn't the first time that they've broken out. We need to know that they're not the first time, so we have to have them talking about other times that they've broken out, because that's what you do when you break out. You talk about other times you broke out. And remember that time that, of course, we both remember that time that we did this thing. So then,
no, I don't.
I don't remember this thing. So then Riley tells Ellie she can't fight everything, as we get the her telling her about beating the shit out of Bethany, and she's like, I can kick ass. Don't worry. So again, I say, Joe, we're supposed to, they've hammered this point several times to the point where I think it's going to become relevant later. Are we supposed to think Ellie can throw hands? Ellie can fight, right?
I think we're supposed to think that. I mean, we've seen her now stab.
But we haven't seen it. They don't show it.
Well, I was going to say clickers.
Oh, clickers.
We've seen her stab the clickers. But that's it.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's it. I know there's a lot of pregnant pauses tonight, but yeah, this is one of those episodes.
But she was psyched to see the dead body.
She did.
Is this why you brought me here?
Joe, you want
to show me dead bodies?
Joe,
you give me the best gifts.
You want to see a dead body, Joe? You want to see a dead body?
Is it by the tracks down by the river, Phil?
Come back. Come on, you sure do. You have a purty mouth, Joe. You sure do. I know we're combining a lot of random shit here.
A lot of random shit.
David, save us, Walking David.
I just wanted to say that I 100% agree with you guys that we should have seen her turn. And I feel like a good way of doing that would be like they have their discussion or something like that, right? They promise like that they'll stay together when it happens. You know what I mean? And then as she starts to get more and more sick, you see obviously that Ellie's not getting sick at the same rate. And just because kids are emotional and sometimes petty, she could get mad and maybe even threaten to kill Ellie just because it's like, it's not fair. Like, why is this happening to me and you're not suffering or anything? And Ellie doesn't know what's going on because this is news to her too.
Yep.
It would just be very impactful. And then if we see her start to turn and she gets to the point where she can't even speak anymore, and then Ellie has to teary-eyed put her down And then you could do a classic. It's a trope, but you could do the classic. She raises the gun, crying, screams, and then shoots, and it cuts to
and it's so fucking emotional.
black right as the gun goes off. And then right as the gun goes off and it cuts to black, you cut to Joel opening his eyes.
But that's my fucking point, Joe. David's making my point. Cliche, and I'm going to play the rest of it. There's only 5 seconds left in David Message, but I'm going to play it. Tropes and cliches can work if they're just it's done well. I am okay with things being repetition if something is actually done fucking well.
I kept the trope in my little. I'm not saying David's rewrite isn't better than what's there. That's not what I'm saying. And he's keeping a well-established TV trope and cliche there, and that is apparently necessary because without it, TV audiences would just lose their mind seeing something new. And that's why I left it when I did my little rewrite of the Kathleen shit and let her, do her little speech shit at the back of the car. Just it needed to be done different, and because they did it the same as it's always been done. And even what I rewrote wasn't any really different than what's been done. It's boring. It's gotten boring. There's better ways to do it. Show us. Don't even go to black. Show us. Show the gun go off and show the fucking brains on the wall.
I love your.
What the fuck? Why not?
And
it's too expensive. It's too much hard. It's we just take the easy way out. This has been done. This wins awards. We're going to do it that way.
Prestige
again.
Prestige
TV.
Prestige TV show.
Banging around in the cabinets and doing all the same thing. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just what came to my mind just now. Back to the show, everybody.
Okay, I owe a couple of spins of the wheels. Luna says, TV series, thank you so much for the super chat donation, Luna. TV series, including streaming prestige channels, are in transition. We really can't assume who will have the quality shows right now, meaning we can't assume that HBO shows will be good at the moment.
No, not that they're owned by Discovery anymore. That's the kind of shit you're going to be getting.
Let's spin this wheel.
Getting that crap network crap, cable crap, not premium drama cable crap that you spend money for.
Let's jump into
because everybody thinks this shit is worth a subscription every month for, rather than just over cable or over your whatever. It's all we all got to get our own fucking fix in. So we all have the money for it. They all have the fucking money for it now.
Now, Joe, you're welcome. You're welcome, Sonic. Thank you for being a channel member. Really do appreciate that. So let's get into a couple of live chats. We see a couple new voices and new names in the live chat I want to get to. Scantily Demon says, the only thing I've watched on HBO was Harley Quinn and Young Justice and 4 HBO originals. My promotion about to end soon. I'll stay and pay full price or nah. It depends if you want to go back and watch the catalog. The Wire, The Sopranos, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Flight of the Conchords, even like Sex and the City and friggin' 6 Feet Under and
if you're ready to watch those other shows, then keep that shit and watch.
Keep that shit and watch all. There's tons of Barry's. Barry's really good. Entourage has a few awesome moments and a few awesome seasons. Look, there's a lot of really good stuff on
but
HBO.
Don't wait for TV. Don't wait. Don't keep a subscription because you're waiting for other stuff.
Yeah.
Like I when I signed up for Disney, I was like, oh, well, all this good Marvel stuff is coming. So, and then people were like, but watch their old catalog. And I'm like, I'm looking through it all of it. And I'm like, none of it. I don't want to watch any of it. And then I realized that the new Marvel shit that's hitting it really just kind of was stale and awful. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to keep a subscription to a service that doesn't have anything for me.
I'm going to make you watch the new Daredevil when it comes. But anyways, Joe, whatever you're drinking, whether it's water, cola, or soda, the wheel landed on Joe drink. So take a sip of your coffee or whatever, and I'll drink just to make sure of it. We also got a couple more super chat donations from David, who says Prestige Worldwide, and Jasmine Walking Dead says, what happened to MTV? That's a good damn question. I want my MTV. Jay says Joe should watch the other season of Young Justice. Kyle, we say, oh man, I'm on season 2 of The Wire. No fucking spoilers. No spoilers, Kyle. No spoilers. We spin the wheel again. We have some more wheel spins for you motherfuckers. I don't know if Maud Mary's still here, but I got my conga to play Teenage Love for her at some point. Maud Mary, let me know if you're still here, and I'll stare longingly into the thing and play the bongos for a second. The only thing I watch on Disney's Mandalorian. We'll talk about Mandalorian season 3. I might bring back the roundabout so I can talk about several shows. Anyways, stay subscribed. So they go through the damn window. Ellie talks shit. There's a lot of Ellie talking shit and dialogue for a bad night. Firefly versus Fedra. Tones of home. They find a dead body. It's a big surprise. We talked this up. He mixed pills with booze. Public service announcement. Don't mix pills with booze. And then we get some old-timey booze. Joe, I found some old-timey booze from way back in the day. You want a sip? We're gonna get drunk as skunks, motherfucker. So... he died. Ellie takes a sip. She says it's great. They go back and forth and take some sips of the booze.
Yeah.
And then Ellie asks for the gun, and she gets the gun, and we see all the guns.
Those weren't kids drinking booze.
No, those were fucking 19-year-olds drinking apple juice. Drinking shitty prop fucking fake alcohol.
Not even pretending to
water
like
with food
a real shot.
Joe, this is taking a shot. Ooh. They were going, I'm drunk. Stop. Sorry, I'm spilling.
It was horrible.
It was bad. Dude, I need a soundboard. I need a fucking soundboard too. I need an audio guy. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Phil. I need an audio guy that's just, as we said, we had an audio guy, but he became a host. He's a host. He does his own stuff. But we did have an audio guy. Yeah, boo on him. We love you, John. Okay, so let's continue. I just watched Big Brother on Paramount. I watch Survivor when I had that, and I also watch, but I steal Paramount, and I watch the Star Trek stuff sometimes, and I also watch that movie, the thing about the making of The Godfather, the Offer, whatever that was. As Joe said, this
season-long episode of Picard lost me. Season
1 and season 2 were shit. I haven't watched any of season 3 yet.
I liked season 1 of Picard.
I liked some of it. I thought it ended shitty though. Let's not talk about Picard. So we'll save this for a Picard podcast in the future, Star Trek stuff later in the future. So Ellie is like, what? Did you join the Fireflies because of some dude? And she's like, no. And Riley says, I was recruited. They saw me. They hunted. They saw that I was good at stuff. And they said, hey, you want to join? It was good to be wanted. And I kind of get that. And Ellie totes the company line for Fedra. And if you see the problem here doing this recap, I'm recapping dialogue. I should not be recapping dialogue. They're walking. If I'm recapping what happens here, they walk here and they eventually end up in the mall. That's it. She says, I have a surprise for you, and they bring them to the mall. Other than that, I'm going to tell you what they say.
And then they play in the mall. They check out a few.
And then they
stores.
Play in the mall, and an infected shows up, and
like there's no subtleties. We already talked about the subtleties that were horribly done. The awkwardness, the character building that fails. It does inform us more on Ellie, but ultimately, their chemistry wasn't. It was a stale episode. I thought it was.
Yeah, I'm
not looking forward to watching it a second time.
I mean, Joe, basically, I wouldn't either. I'm not going to watch this one a second time. Basically, like if I cut out, I might be done with the recap here, and we're going to go to the voicemails. But like, if I cut out all of the dialogue and I say this. Okay, so they get to the mall, they party at the mall, they go in the merry-go-round, they go in the escalator, they have some fun in the food court, and then eventually within all of their dynamic, and they dance, and they have a fun dance where both of them wearing masks, and they eventually kiss and connect, and she convinces Riley to not go to...
Oh, wait, first she storms off, and she has to come back.
Right, she storms off and comes back. Riley tells her that she's going to go, she has to move and go to a different place, and for the Fireflies, and then she comes back, they reconnect, they kiss, they dance. and then a infected comes out, attacks both of them. They manage to kill the infected.
Get ready to run.
But the infected bites.
And she's a horrible shot. Didn't hit him once in the head.
Bites both of them, and then the episode ends up with both of them infected. And then we flash back to Joel, and we see Ellie beating the shit out of things in both situations. She finds some needle and thread, and she sews up Joel's wound, and she eventually kills her friend.
Don't miss the handhold. The
What'd
hand
I miss?
squeeze.
What'd I miss?
The hand squeeze. She goes to open to get she goes back in with the sewing needle and thread to sew him up, and Joel doesn't tell her to get out. Joel is except that she's gonna try to sew him up, and holds her hand and gives it a little squeeze.
My point in all of that,
and that puts a big smile on her face, Phil.
My point in all of that, Joe, is do I have to go? Do you want to go beat for beat through some of the dialogue points that I wrote down, or is that
it's horrible dialogue?
That's it. No, I don't. That's the one point I disagree with you. I feel like it was horrible chemistry, and
it was horrible dialogue too.
No, I like the dialogue. I like Ellie's dialogue. I like Ellie's dialogue.
It was horrible dialogue. It didn't fit. It didn't really fit at all. There was some responses that they were out of left field, delivered to each other. It
just seemed in a very awkward.
And it went against what they wrote in a previous episode.
It seemed more like stuff.
No, but my friend has, and this guy with big arms, he rips your head off, and blah 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 blah. And but she has played it before. It
seemed a little bit more the way the dialogue was set up, in the sense to be more like. If Joe and you and I are talking and we're going to tell a story, we say, "Oh, that was awesome. We did this thing." It wouldn't be like, "Joe, you remember that time you, Katie, and I ran in the woods and we saw a deer? Yeah, we were running in the woods, and we were running in the woods.
And you know what? And you know what we also do every time?
And we saw a deer. Time? We saw a deer, Joe. We saw a deer in the woods.
No, we didn't. It wasn't a deer.
It wasn't a deer.
It wasn't a deer. No, it was a coyote, dude.
No, we saw a deer.
Coyote.
No, we saw a deer.
A coyote.
Dude, it was a deer.
And it wasn't in the woods. We were on the beach.
No, that was a different time we were on the beach.
No,
we were in the
wasn't.
coyote.
That was the same time. You see, that's also what happens when two people talk about, do you remember the fucking time?
No, there was a different time, and we definitely saw a fucking coyote.
Right? That's exactly what happens. That you want to write that scene, remember the time we went and did this? It's not just yeah, I do, but no, that's not what happened. This is what happened. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Let's ask this third person that was there. And then it's 2 against 1.
Joe, let's get to some more voicemails. Call on in, everybody. 781-990-8509. 781-990-8509. We're having too much fun with your voicemails tonight and your texts and all that sort of stuff. Keep them coming. 781. You have a comment in the live motherfucking chat that I missed. Text on in if you don't want to call on in. 781-990-8509. Here we go, Joe.
Hey, Phil and Joe. This is Tracy G calling from Chicago. So I just wanted to give a few thoughts on this episode, but first I want
Tracy sounds defeated.
To start it off and say that this show is not better than Arrow. Arrow is like the
I can't disagree with her.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Sorry, Tracy. I got to start your message again. That was great. I like the first couple of seasons of Arrow too, but I didn't think she was going here, Joe. Let's get this again.
Phil and Joe, this is Tracy G calling from Chicago.
I'm sorry, I have to start again.
So I just wanted to give a few thoughts on
Tracy.
This episode, but first I wanted to start it off and say that this show is not better than Arrow. Arrow is like the freaking best show of all time. Stephen Amell Arrow is fire. But for this episode,
I would agree with you on one aspect of that before I get into the rest of your message, and I will play the rest of your message. I am actually a big Stephen Amell fan in the sense of playing the character of the Arrow. I think he did really well in that part, and I think in my dream casting situation, he wouldn't have been casted as the Arrow. You would have had Finn fucking Horrible for Loris Tyrell be the Arrow and put him on that horrible CW show, and then you put Stephen Amell playing the Iron Fist in the Netflix universe, and you don't destroy the Netflix universe with fucking Iron Fist with a shitty fucking actor playing not that Finn, well, he's shitty in that role. But anyways, I like Stephen Amell, and I do like the first couple of seasons of Arrow. I think up until I think it's season 3 with the race storyline that it gets a little weird. But I do like the beginning of Arrow. I think he's really awesome, and he's charismatic as fuck.
I actually hated it like I thought I would. This was like the most boring episode ever, the most boring date ever. I do agree with Joe that the chemistry was a little bit off between the two actresses, and this episode just really served no purpose for the show. I actually did not play this part of the game or the extension, and as a first-time person who saw this episode, it was boring as hell. This has served the purpose of just nothing. Completely, this show is not a good show. It's a lot of pacing issues. There's no threat. So this is just another episode just in the day of this Ellie and Joel. Like, it's ridiculous, but again, I'll continue to watch for the last 2. Don't really have faith in it anymore at this point, but yeah, this episode sucked ass. And yep. I'm not sure if, again, I'm going to blame Naughty Dog. But other than that, that's it, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, Tracy sounded defeated in that message, and honest. And Joe, how much do you agree with Tracy G's message that just left?
After the Arrow shit, I can't disagree with that this show isn't better than Arrow. I only watched season 1 of Arrow. This season,
I guess my more question for you, is this a good show? Yes. Is this a good show?
As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't tell anybody they had to watch it. I would tell them to play the video game.
Now, I mean,
I would tell even a non-video game player if they're like, I'm thinking about watching the last stuff. No, I'd say put it on easy setting and play the game.
I mean, my question to you, and I said this earlier too, because I do have to be honest for my opinions.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Hold on. Katie, what?
Same. Okay, so I just want to say that
from a non-video game player, she does not play video games at all. Not even really on her fucking
I just
phone.
Want to offer the alternative perspective of where I'm coming from in the sense that I don't disagree with you, but I liked episode 1, 2, 3, and 6.
Okay, so if I was going to say...
I thought 1, 2, 3, and 6 were all awesome, fun, well put together episodes of television, which leaves us 3 bad episodes. So right now they're doing pretty good. So I'm not there yet.
I kind of disagree with you.
You like the first 3 episodes.
If I remove episode 3, take that out of consideration, because this is what I would do.
Why do we have to take it out? It's in the season.
Hold on.
It's a great episode.
Say this to someone. You want to watch some good television? You want to watch something really good? Watch episode 3 of The Last of Us. That's great enough. That's good. That's a great story. It's almost, an hour and 10, 15 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah, it could be a movie. It could be
almost movie length.
If they added a little bit of time, they could have made it a movie. Yeah.
It's great. It's good enough that I could recommend watch that. But where I really start having problems with this show, if we're being honest, is in episode 2. In episode 2, I start having problems.
The kiss.
With the kiss, with the walkers continuing to run, with now establishing you can step on them, and that was the last we ever heard of it, was like in that same fucking episode. They explained it, they showed it to us, and now that's it. You'll never have to hear about it or see about it again, because they're not a threat.
To agree with you, Joe, that's something that they set up that could have been an exciting thing through the entire season. Every time you step in a situation, but that's not the kind of show that they're doing. They're doing a slow. Okay, and this is my perspective. They've decided their take on it from a television standpoint, taking an action video game, is to do a slow-moving character profile kind of piece.
Yes, that's what they keep saying, and it doesn't work well. And it stops working well at the end of episode 2. Then you have a standalone great movie which has almost absolutely nothing to do with the whole fucking show because it's a standalone fucking story, right? That then it moves right back into bad.
Now
with Kansas City and starts going right back into bad in episode 4 and episode 5. There are moments in all of the episodes so far that I have found to be compelling or good, but overall, as each episode goes, no, I don't really think this is good. And I would tell anybody, I would beg them, please don't watch the show. You'll get even more of the feels and a lot more fun and a much more a more entertaining experience for yourself if you just put that shit on the absolute easiest setting and log into your kid's fucking PlayStation and play it.
So Joe, you're bummed that this is the first time I'm experiencing this story.
Yes, because it's as far as I'm concerned.
Should I just read Should I just read the Wikipedia article at this point?
Pretty much. Or watch your recap show, Phil.
watch the
recap show.
Watch my own recap show.
As far as I'm concerned, the game is on a different level than this. The acting is really phenomenal. Everything production-wise that went into the game is incredibly done and painstakingly so. And the story is that much better, that much tighter, especially if you're going to put this shit on easy and just run through and either run by everything or kill everything.
Now, again, Joe,
you can still get all the greatness.
I keep seeing those hearts fly up in the live chat. Keep those fucking hearts coming. Tom P has a question. Anyone know if they're planning to wrap up the whole first game in this season? There's only 2 more episodes. ... Joe, again, I'll ask you the question as we're moving forward. We're going to talk about this a little bit tonight.
Yeah, they are going to wrap it up. They are. They're going to wrap up the whole first game in the next 2 episodes. And is it going to do the game story justice? I really highly doubt it. Are there going to be moments that I probably find to be really good or that are ripped straight from the game that are done just like they were in the game? So I feel like, oh, that was a good scene. That made it really good because it was exactly what I saw before, probably. And that's not necessarily what I want. I want them to do their own thing, just good. I don't have to see the exact same scenes. Those are fun to see.
Keep those
coming. To see it.
And yes, everyone, thank you for keeping those hundreds coming. Keep those hearts coming. That stuff just helps. I don't know. It's all new, so I assume it just helps the algorithm crap, which I hate even saying that fucking word. But keep it coming. Keep it pushing. Keep it floating. We do appreciate all of the sharing and likes and comments that you guys leave on these videos. They help, and we do love engaging with you week to week. So regardless when you're watching this, if Joe and I say something you disagree with or you agree with, please jump in the comment section, share your thoughts. We'd love to hear it. And thank you to all of our super chatters and our channel members too. Let's listen to another voicemail, area code 773.
Greetings, everyone. It's me again. I can't think of anything else to talk about right now. At the very least, something that hasn't already been covered. But I wanted to call at least one more time tonight.
Do it.
Because I can. Anyway, by the time you get this, I will have already sent a message to Phil. And this goes to everyone who can answer the question. Would you be willing to get a haircut like this? Message I sent Phil. I text Phil.
Okay,
would you get a haircut like this?
I will look at this text message. Will we be willing to get a haircut like this? Like, oh, okay. It's basically shaving your head that it looks like you have a squirrel on your bald head. I will say, when I was, I think it was before I met Joe, when I was around 16 or 17 years old, I did take like a razor and do like a little spinny thing, like Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers in my hair. I shaved my head and I shaved a spinny thing. Joe, I know the answer to this question. What is the craziest shit you've ever done with your hair straightener and made it look like explain the shit you did to your hair?
I can't explain. You explain what I did to my head.
So Joe,
and I did this twice. I walked around like this for a while.
Joe put like some straightener in his hair and it made it like stand up straight so it looked like Bart Simpson hair. It was
I have very, very, very
like curly hair,
curly hair,
like curly afro-y kind of hair and stuff like that.
Very big afro. If I grow it out, it grows
it's like
afro.
Big. It's big. And he put straightener in it, and it instead of like falling down or anything, it went straight up, like a big like flat top in the front, and it looked like a cartoon character.
It looked like I had kissed an electric socket.
Yeah, like you stuck your finger in and you had it like that for like 3. I feel like it felt like it was like 3 years. Like you had it that way for like a long fucking time. It wasn't a mullet. It wasn't a mullet. Like it was long hair, but like the front of it was like
it was an afro, but it was a jerry curl. It was like a crimped. It looked like it took all the curls. I have very curly hair, and it took all
like
the curls
extremely.
out,
Your whole family
and
does.
made it look like it was just crimped. But instead of falling crimped like that 80s crimp, flat iron crimp, whatever thing, it looked like it stood on end.
It grew out like
someone like a kid has static electricity and their hair kind of stands up.
You had constant static electricity.
It was like that.
Yeah, you had constant static electricity for a long time. It was pretty incredible that it looked like that for a while. It was like the Static X guy, a little bit like that, Lola. Like Gerald from our yes. It was pretty ridiculous. That was Joe's crazy hairdo, and you had that for a while before you shaved it.
I shaved it off for.
And is that the hair? And is that the hair that you have now? Is from the point you shaved? Did you cut any other haircuts between?
No, so I shaved. That was in '95. I shaved it off to go to the prom with Erica, and then grew a set of dreads from '95 to '98, and shaved my head in '98. This
your hair now is from '98.
Spring of '98, and that's this from then. Yeah.
Luna says she's digging the locks. Not Joe putting a just.
Yeah, and I put that shit in. I did it twice.
Yeah, he did it twice. Yeah, it was.
I put it down to the scalp and left it in for like 20.
Dude, you left it in for a while, and it became a lot. It is alive. It became
I left
alive.
that shit in. Like I scrubbed it right down to the fucking scalp, and let it just be. It smelled burny.
I remember that day.
I bought that shit at Boston Beauty.
Yep.
Yep.
Dude, it just looked
like
comical.
No shit on the package. It said like I joked not. It said ethnic relaxer.
Dude, and that was
ethnic hair relaxer.
That was during your like ravey days too. So you were like at the raves, like with your hair up and like the flashy things and the
and the lights
and the
drugs
and the music and the blah blah blah. It all kind of went hand in hand. I'd see you at different shows. My hippie band guru at the time, and you'd be like in the audience, like run through at the fish house. Anyways, okay, we got more voicemails. Keep calling on in 781-990-8509. So come on, China says, so this is what the guy with the terrible opinion looks like. Yes. Come to China. That's what the guy with the terrible opinion looks like. If you've been listening to us and you want to see what the two guys with the awful opinions look like, this is what we look like right here.
Right here.
Yep. Thank you. Come to China. Let's listen to the Walking David's message.
Joe, it's probably been 45 minutes since you even said this because there were so many voicemails, but at the time in which I'm leaving this, you had just mentioned about the mall making all that noise, and you're totally fucking right. They got me. Some of the writing is so dumb that I almost let that slide. I didn't even pay attention to it. I was just so happy to not have Kathleen around that I totally forgot about just the logistics of a completely dead, quiet, no lights on. It's literally lights out at the city, and they turned on a mall. Also, did they build this city on top of the mall?
No, it's Boston.
Because they climbed down into it,
it's
and then
Boston,
they go, it's Dave. Like a big bunker.
I'm gonna rewind it. David, no, it's Boston. They're supposed to be in Boston. This is just a random mall in the city of Boston that has no light to the outside. Joe,
except the big skylight in the ceiling that you can see.
No, but that didn't notify anybody. That didn't notify all the fireflies in the city. But no, I guess the fireflies in the city know that she's right. We find out at the end of the episode that she's assigned to live there, but Fedra doesn't see the fucking lights in the mall. They don't make sure that the mall is secure every night. because people would obviously go to the mall and loot again since they closed it off from people looting in the first place. So they shut it down. So wouldn't they always...
It would have been looted over and over.
Yeah, in that whole
again.
section, we forgot to talk about that, where they show some stores looted, some... It's bullshit. Everything would be fucking looted.
The mall, like, is one of the places that, like, that's going to be loaded with people. That's what people would go to live. No?
I mean... If we were in this situation, where would you want to go? Where
like, honestly, like, are you talking 20 years after the fall, or are you
right
talking
immediately
about during the fall?
Like right immediately was the first. What's your first thought?
You come here.
Yep, I'm
right?
close enough that I can make it.
You tell the people at the bottom of the hill, your cousins there, your aunt.
Yep.
They come on up.
Yep.
And
I'm bringing dog.
This place becomes a fort for at least a month.
You do have the barn too, so we can set up some like.
This place becomes a fort for at least a month, dude, and from there, we branch out. We gather supplies. We make sure we protect this hilltop.
And in fairness, or in goodness,
then we can decide where we go and if we need to find a bigger.
Your house is also set up in a way that we only have to guard from one
side,
one direction. We could be like a horrible band. Let's take a couple of live.
Like this is the hilltop, dude. This is the better hilltop than the hilltop.
Except
and actually, you know what? There's a cop that lives on the corner of my street.
Okay,
now,
good.
So I know where to get guns.
Good. So we're.
I'm not actually ever going to break into this person's house and take guns. No, I'm talking about during the so-called fall in the apocalypse and all that.
If this person is killed in the apocalypse, we know where we can go and stock up with weapons.
Right. I'm assuming you're busy on duty and all that.
Yeah.
And your family is welcome to come join the fortress over on the secure air side of the hilltop too. The summit thing. Okay, so Joe could pass as a student for Welcome Back Kotter. Hypothetical, like
Sonic.
Fantasy.
Joe could definitely be a student in the Welcome Back Kotter class. Like the guy from Static X, yes. Like Static Shock too. It's Tracy G. I used to love wearing my hair crimped. General Grievous says I enjoy the show, but I'm kind of disappointed. It could have been better. As BBM said earlier, Joe, or maybe it was David. No, I think it was Walking David. That said Joe's not upset. He's like your parent. He's not upset with you. He's just disappointed.
Because I know you could have done better.
Because
you had not only the funds, but the support and the love, all the love you could have had.
You had all the wasted talent.
You had all the chances it took to get an A on your test,
Joe,
and you blew it.
The word you had your chance and you blew it. So, Joe, I'm digging the locks. Red Lips says, not Joe putting relaxer in his head. As we said before, until I'm weak. 20 minutes, Joe. I know your scalp was burned and scabbed the next day. Yep. Yes.
No scabs.
No scab, but it was burning. I remember you saying it was burning. Sonic Me Too. The Last of Us. Okay, Joe, hypothetically, your boy looks better now. Okay, let's play the rest of David's message. Let me rewind it a little bit, and then we have another message from the area from 916. Everyone, now's your time. Leave your voicemail, 781-990-8509. 781-990-8509. Thank you, everyone. We're going to be back the next 2 weeks to talk about the final 2 episodes of The Last of Us, see how they end this story, and then the week afterwards, we'll be back with a spoiler cast about Season 2 and get into some of Joe's spoiler predictions for how Season 2 is going to work out. And we'll finally do that one that some of you guys have been asking for, where we'll break down. We'll talk all about everything that happens in Season 2, so we'll give you warnings for that one. So let's get into this. Let's get into the rest of David's message.
Build this city on top of the mall?
Rock and roll.
Because they climb down into it, and then they go, it's like a big bunker. And I'm like, is this mall underground? And they're not tapping it for any electricity or resources?
Is there an underground mall in Boston? No.
Anywhere else in the city?
No.
And you're right, not just would it wake other living people up, you're telling me that whatever the fuck, clicker or runner, whatever the hell it is, that none of these walker-type things or zombies are awakened by the noise?
Yeah.
Don't they respond only to sound? Can't most of them not see, but they respond exclusively to sound?
Sensitive.
And, like, rumbles in the ground and stuff like that? You're spot on. Okay, the point is you're spot fucking on. They were being really loud, and whoever left that voicemail saying that they played too much Mortal Kombat, God bless, because you're right. You're fucking right. Damn it.
As always, The Walking David. Make sure you check out David. David, if you're still in the live chat, share where your show is going to be streaming. David's going to be featured on a upcoming series that's going to be starting streaming, I believe, tomorrow or in the next couple of days. Make sure you check that out. And if you're in the area of where David is living, check out his casting call for a movie he's producing, looking for a part. I wish I was closer so I could read for that. But if you're in David's area or you're willing to travel, he's looking for an actor as well. So check that out. David is out there actually making fucking content. So lots of love to David and lots of luck to him. So make sure you support him, and because he supports our show. And obviously we love David anyway, but you know, the better David does, the better we do, Joe. You know, if David makes it, we'll call in that fucking favor. You bet your ass we're getting our cameos in the fucking Walking David productions. You bet your sweet fucking bippy. Finish him.
Tom P.
Y'all always tell it like it is. I swear every other channel is like it's actually.
But they're so brave
awesome.
for taking this material and turning it from this action piece and making it this character-driven story, man. Fuck that, dude. The action informed us of the story. The action helped drive the story. The action is what made the story possible. What is how those characters built themselves, the family unit they are, was through some of the awful shit they had to do to survive. And you removed all of it, and they're like, but look, because they walked across the country, now they're father and daughter. Like, seriously, honestly, you could remove Joel from the entire fucking story, and it would be no different.
Leave Joel alone, Eric.
That's not about Joel, Phil. That's about the producers and the actor and the writers.
I feel you.
That's not about Pedro or Joel, the character. That's about what they did to him. They completely removed him from the story.
Joe, where on Goofy did they touch
call
your
it a
Joel?
Character thing.
Show me on the doll of Goofy where they touched your Joel. Where
all over head to toe with their tongues, dude. It was bad.
Puzzle Cat says, "A fucking men, Joe. A fucking men." Luna says with the super chat donation, "Fans are not what they used to be. Respect us. We think we can get an amen, fam. Amen to you, Luna. Let me spin this wheel for you. Super chat donation. Thank you so much for that super chat donation, Luna. We love you. Area code 916, Joe.
It's true. It is true. Fans do think. Fans have fucking brains in their heads, and you keep shoving the same cliches at us over and over again. Eventually, people aren't going to respond well to it. And I guess if it's working for you, don't change it. Like, just don't expect me to tell you that it's the fucking best shit I've ever seen or worthy of a label that somebody invented, this prestige TV label, because it's not. I'll say it again. Say it with me, folks. It's pedestrian TV.
Pedestrian. Oh my goodness, that's what people used to call my old band. The review of Frightening Dick, there was a cloying and pedestrian music. Okay, area code. Whoa. Help. Block. Oh no, let's hear this voicemail. Area code 813.
Yeah, Red Lipstick. Sorry, Phil.
Yes.
Red Lipstick, yes. Don't tell us she's been in the hole 3 times. Show us her get into 3 different fights and then the fucking hole clinking on her 3 different fucking times. We don't tell us. That's another example.
Yeah,
of bad storytelling.
Show don't tell. Show don't fucking tell. That's like.
And then it shows us why she's a fucking hot mess right now. Why she's the little psycho that this dude instantly labels her as when she jumps down, holding him and his fucking
the Inglewood Rose
geriatric wife at gunpoint.
The Inglewood Rose says it's watchable. It's something, I guess. Upright Citizen TV. Upright Citizen Brigade was great. Old Torf, great to see Old Torf. I saw you earlier, but I didn't get a chance to one of your comments.
Upright Citizens Brigade used to do, or still does. They do like live performances and shit at festivals.
Yeah, they're
fun. Quite a few of them. They're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they're funny guys. They're hilarious. Phil, they really did destroy Joel from the first game in the show. Nowhere as brutal and cool. And that's what Joe's been saying as well. Here's area code 813, Joe. Light your fucking lighters.
I can't, Phil. I can't. But this episode, I'm not.
Oh, no. Do it. Keep playing the guitar. No. You're playing the guitar so funky. Wow. What's that?
I can't, Phil. I can't.
I
But
can't.
this episode, I'm not even going to play the music.
Oh.
I just.
Oh, no.
You got to help me here.
Help him, Joe.
I'm trying. Know that you're not alone.
It's not what I thought it would be.
I give you hugs, man. I give you hugs.
I'm dealing. We're coping.
Hugs.
We're coping. Joe, I'm with you. Want you to know that.
Joe, I'm with you. He's with you, Joe.
Thank you. I accept your hugs.
He's up.
You're hanging with you.
All the video game fans are hugging each other. I see you. He sees you, Joe. He sees you. He can't even play music. We can't even get some damn music.
That's it. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I'm the guitar music, and then just like
the music
drones out into like.
Is today the music? Oh no!
Yeah, half chords and like fretted fucking
today, the day the music died. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got a couple more voicemails from now, but let's go back in time to in the middle of the week. We got a couple of voicemails from area code 414. So from Zeke from Milwaukee. So let's play Zeke's messages, Joe. And whenever I see the Milwaukee thing, I'm thinking Wayne's World, and because our show is basically the Wayne's World of YouTube here, and
right.
I mean, we are. I mean, there's other people that have great shows and great broadcasts, but if anyone is,
it's God.
It's party time. Even our generation, like we're the same. We're old men like Wayne and Garth would be at this point in time. So
they are.
Yeah, we're about the same age as those guys. I think
we're older than they were.
I mean, I think we're about the same. I think
they're probably in their 30s. Late 20s.
In reality,
I
think Mike Myers and Dana Carvey are a little older than us.
Yes, they are.
But the characters they were playing were probably a little younger. So, but I'll take the win. But yes, we are the Wayne's World of YouTube. I will take that. I'm gonna own that badge of courage. So, Milwaukee from the. As Alice Cooper breaks down in the first Wayne's World movie. But anyways, this is Zeke from Milwaukee. It's Phil's World, party time, excellent. There we go. It's party time.
Hi, this is Zeke from Milwaukee. This show feels like it's being made in the early to mid 2000s.
Whoa!
Milwaukee.
Whoa! I'm gonna play obviously both your messages, Milwaukee, but
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Make it Milwaukee.
The action was a lot bigger, and I'm not just talking about killing people, killing infected. What I mean is, there's some obvious ones, like in the last episode 6, getting stabbed instead of falling onto rebar is a big one. Everything with Henry and Sam, it was a much larger action sequence. You're getting chased, you fall in the river, you float down the river.
Yep.
All this stuff happens. To me, it reminds me of like the difference between the Dune by Frank Herbert miniseries in the early 2000s, where there were, it was low budget. It was just kind of focused on, it didn't have a lot of action in it, versus the Denis Villeneuve movie in 2021. I think Joe will know what I'm talking about. Like,
oh yes.
It's weird how they cut all this stuff down when it's 2023 and they have the budget to make this stuff big. I don't know. Hopefully this makes sense. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Love your show.
And love your voicemail. We got one more from this caller as well. Thank you for calling in. And as we said, if it's in the middle of the week and you're watching us later, please leave your voicemail. We will definitely play it on the show. And you were saying this. A lot of what this caller says is echoing what you've been saying all night, Jim.
Yep. All season.
Yep, all season.
Well, not all season. I like you said. I didn't really.
You loved the first
a moment or two in from episode 2,
but seriously, the first 3 episodes of the series. If we go back, if we rewind time, if we did the issues program rewind, I could pull it up right the fuck now.
I was still very high on it.
You were the happiest I've ever heard you on this podcast since the first weeks that we started doing it, when we started to actually get people watching us. I like in the early Walking Dead days and early Game of Thrones days.
It's amazing how they fucking turned the show around.
Yeah, and it's in 3 episodes you've had a complete 180, Joe. But will you have the 360?
Could they
360 you? Yeah, could they 360 you right back to where you were at the beginning?
I really doubt it, Phil. Like, they're not paying attention to any of the detail that they need to pay attention to. Like, I'm sorry, but like,
I said it
turning
again.
on the power at the mall, like when they flipped that switch, to me, even in the game, I thought it when I played it in the game, but like when that switch gets flipped, like the lights should go on for everybody. Why is this? This shouldn't be possible right now. Oh, but they explain it's possible because, when they turned the power on for this sector, they power at this place too and didn't realize it. Like, that doesn't explain why you're not being flooded by either soldiers, raiders, rapists, clickers, walkers, or anything else that's fucking out there right now.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, but Joe, it comes down to a different question. I agree with you on that point. If they hit it on these last 2 episodes, do you say this was a good season of television?
No.
So the season's already lost for you.
No, no. I'm sorry.
First off, what is your score for this episode? What is the score out of 10 for this episode? Where are you on this one?
I'm still down at the 6s.
6. I would say this is I would give last week 8. I give last week an 8. I would give this one a 6.5. 6.5. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. 6.5. This is a D. It's a D of an episode.
Like that. I'm not
D-minusing. I'm not D-minusing or effing this one. I'm saying
I might even go lower because there's a lot of like just stupid things in this episode that the universe building just let go of. Like, I'm sorry, the world isn't noisy anymore. The world isn't lit up anymore. You turn this fucking mall on. That's an event. Like, you established in your world building all these things that could be dangerous, but yet you use none of them, and then just have this clicker just wake up with this cheesy horror scene sequence of like the camera moving around the corner with eerie music in a dark, shadowy place. Perfect for a fungus to grow.
Joe, I'm gonna change our ranking systems instead of out of 10. Let's school grade this shit. A, B, C, D, F.
5.
5. So you give this an F.
Why do you go back to the? I never went to a school that graded me like that, Phil.
Oh, I'm sorry that you went to special school that catered to your fucking...
Never went to a school that graded me like
that. Sorry, fucking privileged asshole that went to fucking the school that whipped you with, that had nuns whipping you with rulers instead.
Even before that, I didn't have a school that
people say C-. We got 6.5 in the live chat. Old Torf says the episode was a massive waste of time. Igor says I'll show my score as soon as I finish wiping. Peggy says 6 out of 10 is my positive score. 5 out of 10 is my average.
I'm going like 5. Like, I'm really.
Sonic says 10 out of 10. 5. Sonic says 10 out of 10, but I think he's
Sonic.
I think he's trolling us. Let's area code 773. Let's get to a couple of these messages.
David scored it in 1978.
Calling back to say, I cannot think of anything else to talk about for this episode. I feel like people are beating me to topics that I can't bring to light. I seriously cannot think of anything. All I can say is I seriously hope this is going to be the worst episode of the season. I really hope the final episodes will be better.
And that's a good question, and we'll play the. Is there any way that the last 2 episodes are worse than this one, Joe? From what you know of the story.
God, you can't ask me, can this be worse? Yes, they can write worse. Of course they could write worse. They could have, of course it can get worse.
Live chat, Igor says
it's not a challenge to make something worse, right? Like, it's never a challenge. Like, you make an omelet, right? Can you make the omelet worse? Yes. And after you've done that, can you make it worse? Yes. And after you've done that, can you make it worse? It's never a challenge to make it worse.
There's
to make
a
something
ceiling.
Better is the challenge.
There's a ceiling of shitty.
No. There's not a ceiling of shitty, because once you got to that ceiling of shitty in your omelet, I bet you didn't think I was going to put rocks in it next time to break your fucking teeth, did you? Just got shittier, didn't it, dude? Just got shittier. And guess what? Next time, it's broken glass. It can get shittier every time, Phil.
So the unit gives the episode a 4.9. Madsen says the last 2 will be great, but the season won't be overall. Walking David gives it a 6.8. Tracy gives it a 0 out of 10. Sonic gives it an A+. Luna C+. Peggy 6 out of 10 is my positive scores we said. Let's listen to a couple more voicemails and then call it a night.
Hello, gentlemen. It's me. I can finally say that I would like to know. I'm hearing Walking David got something going on. Is something streaming soon, real soon? I would like to know what it's called. I would like to know where it's being streamed so I can be prepared to watch it. If I don't have the service, I will be willing to pay for a month or whatever just to watch our good friend, The Walking Awesome.
Yes, me too.
Do it. Walking David. If you can purchase your service, I think David's still in the chat. He'll pop that in the chat in a second. Read the full comment I left. Where is it? Where is it? 6.8 out of 10 for an episode of The Last of Us. 8 out of 10 for an episode of The Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, right? It's a Minnesota 10. It's a Hollywood 4.
Leave it alone, assholes. Walking David, where is your show premiering? And how can people fucking watch it? Throw it in the chat, and I'll read it out loud in a second here if David pops it in the live chat. Make sure you check that out. Hey, dog, what are you doing? You don't have to go anywhere. Stay where you are. Hi. Let's play one more voicemail unless anyone else calls in. This is area code 414.
Zeke from Milwaukee.
Oh, Walking David's show is called 1,000 Tomorrows on the app Pure Flicks. The first 2 episodes are live right now. You can see David on there. Make sure you check that out again. It's 1,000 Tomorrows on the app Pure Flicks. First 2 episodes are live right now. Check out friend of the show, friend of the court. A couple people will get that. Pelican Brief. Friend of the court, the Walking David. Make sure you check out him in his latest adventure and check out the show 1,000 Tomorrows on Pure Flicks. First 2 episodes live now. So here we go. Area code 414.
Milwaukee again. Just wanted to say that it seems also like they're totally melding the first and the second games together a bit. One obvious example being that in the first game, Tommy and his community are still setting up the Hoover Dam, or whatever dam it is, to provide electricity. In the second game is where you see more of the community built up with the mess house and everything on the street that you see. And also Joel's character, for sure, is more of a mix of the first and the second game. Because in the first game, he's a total badass. Kind of guy. And in the second game, he's softened up a bit because they've had a few years in that community and
because at that
both
point he's
physically and
70 years
emotionally,
old.
he's sort of softened up a bit.
They almost do
that's
make
all I got
him
to say.
feel
All right.
like 70 years old. And yes,
Like he's 55 now, or in his 50s, early 50s, or whatever now. 10 years later, for game 2, it's about, I think it is something around that. It's he's 65 or 60 whatever years old. Like, that's pushing it in age. You're not as spry and bloodthirsty and bat wieldy as you get head up there, you know.
And yes,
You're just looking to retire at that point. Hang the bat up on the wall, you know.
And yet,
count your fucking ears and move on.
Be lucky at that point. And yes, so who said that? Inglewood. Yeah, yes, that was a little bit of a wiggy reference. A friend of the courts. We need Joe to make some fake Twitter accounts. We just got one last voicemail from our good buddy Jay. Let's listen to this shit.
Hey Joe, could they turn the show around by making it like so bad it's good, like one of those shows like
Z Nation
that people just enjoy watching?
Saved by the Bell?
Even though it's awful or whatever, could they 360 it like that for you? All right, later.
Yeah, is there any way, like I guess that is an important question.
I don't know how they just start doing it right, start paying attention.
That's what I'm saying.
It's too late. If I'm seeing what I'm seeing now, and there's only 2 episodes left, those episodes are already canned. They're already just waiting to push.
But what if they're 2 of the best episodes in television history? What if we get 2 awesome
They've
episodes?
already paid. They've already showed they're willing to not pay attention to enough detail, enough story telling, enough of and they're already willing to not. Why do I have faith that they were like, you know what? I know we've canned these last 6 episodes. They're edited. They're done. But we're gonna, and those are the ones we're gonna air. But these last 2, I think we should really pay attention to some of the details and explore why we're making the decisions we're making, like turning on the lights in the mall, like not. I mean, I know, and that's from the game. It's a mall scene in the game too. Yeah. But it honestly, it doesn't play as well.
I mean, you're coming off from talking that you're not a big fan of the DLC anyway.
I liked the story from the DLC. I really did. Just action-wise, there wasn't much gameplay to it. And if I wanted to play the game, I would just play the game. I didn't really need.
Do you think that they should
see that more than the like? Like I said, I played through the even Left Behind.
Should they have skipped the DLC during this season and then released the DLC as little clips in between the 2 seasons?
You know what would have been cool? What if they did like a Last of Us, Thanksgiving episode and played just this, just as a teaser episode,
right? Filmed
to get
it
to season 2.
Filmed it during season 1, but waited to air it in between the 2 seasons,
like it was DLC.
Like it was DLC.
Yeah. Like it was like a little teaser episode.
Yeah, like it was DLC.
One-time event.
Yeah, like
we're gonna give it to them
like
6 months
like
from now.
It was like some DLC or something like that.
Right? Like that would have worked really fucking well, and that would have made everybody's fucking dick hard in 6 months if they had done a good job with this season. That gives you one more episode now to do something different. And if you can convince HBO that we want to put this, just like it's going to be like a game thing, the gamers are going to all know it's DLC. It belongs.
You're
separate.
right, Joe.
It belongs afterwards. It belongs in between.
Just like 90210 deciding to do summer episodes at the Peach Pit in the summer when Brendan quit the Peach Pit and started working at that summer place
at the beach
at the beach resort. Yeah, like it was a bonus that it was like people got television.
Leah Remini.
Yep, Leah Remini. Yeah, absolutely. She was the girl in that first season, 100%. And on the bitch, yeah, it was Leah on the beach. I said bitch, but beach. Yep.
On the bitch, baby.
On the bitch of the beach. Yep.
The bitch of the beach.
But to your point, that was like a TV hard-on that you give people that little extra thing that they're not expecting within the normal season. So let's get to our quick poll. This is our closest poll of the year, Joe. Closest poll of the year. Thoughts on tonight's episode. Winning, but barely at 28%. Awesome. I loved it. But number 2 at 26%. Very, very fucking close with 125 votes. Meh. it's fine, it's okay. At 23%, it's pretty good. And 21% say, yeah, this one did not do it for me. So I would say, yes, we do have a winner, but ultimately this is a complete split decision. Split fucking decision. All over the place with opinions on this episode. Right, like some people say it's okay, some people say it's good. I gave all the choices: excellent, okay, good, or shitty. And we lost Joe. I think we lost Joe Dirty Locks. I was wondering why he was smiling that whole time. We saw smiling Joe for a while. Let's see. We had to do that thing where we wait for Joe to come back just to say goodbye. But let's get to a couple of live chats. No, Leah was on the Saved by the Bell. She was also, I believe. Oh, you're right. You are right, Tracy G. Joe is wrong. You are right. Leah Remedy was on the Saved by the Bell, the summer edition. Brandon did not hook up with Leah Remedy. Thank you, Tracy, for being for keeping us honest. Tracy G, you are fucking right. Let me let you in, Joe. Joe, Tracy G called us out, and she's right. Leah Remedy was not on 90210. She was actually on the Saved by the Bell summer day.
That's what we were talking about.
No, I was talking about the 90210. Both
you said Saved by the Bell.
I said Saved by the Bell earlier, but in that moment, I was talking about 90210.
But you said Zach working at the Peach Pit, not Brendan working at the Peach Pit.
Did I fuck with you? Did I fuck with you too much? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Now I'd have to do a rewatch, Phil, to figure this out. But meanwhile, you said bitch of the beach, and Katie turned off all the fucking power on me.
Kyle says, I like the episode, but there were 9 episodes. It makes me nervous. That's right, Tracy. Could have been a Halloween special. There's a shit ton of sense. That would have made much more sense. Thank you. Studio, hey guys, thank you for your honest reviews. Glad you guys don't hold back. Cheers. Studio 11, Uncle D, thank you so much for always checking this out. Luna says, hey Phil, hey Dirty Lux. I want Joel to be a badass so we can feel the impact of season 2. We'll talk about that more on our spoiler review, Luna. Tom P says, I'll check it out. I follow 5 people on TikTok, and you're one of them, David. Funny stuff. Make sure you check out The Walking David. Also, make sure you keep an eye out for my new rock band, 2-Piece Trip. We'll be releasing our first single, I believe, on March 8th on Spotify and iTunes and all those places. It will be available. I'll make sure I share those links in the most current video. But our first song, Railroad Tracks, will be released in a couple weeks. So make sure you check that out. We got 4 songs coming out in the next couple of weeks if you're into that kind of shit. So, Joe, thank you as always for checking this out, for joining us tonight and checking it out too. I appreciate you checking it out as much as joining.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if you check it out if you weren't a part of it. I don't think so. I
don't watch YouTube.
You don't watch any YouTube.
Any YouTube, like past like kitten videos or some shit. No, I don't watch any shows on YouTube. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't give a shit about the closest thing I come to podcast listening is sports radio on the way to and from work.
You listen to like EEI?
Until I hit the highway, and then on the highway I crank the music and burn at 90 miles an hour down the road.
Oh, exciting.
And then when I get off the highway, no, that's not true. When I blare the music all the way into the parking spot. But when I get in my car on the way home,
you're more of a music listener in or you're watching something. You don't really listen to books on tape or podcasts or talk radio often at all. Not in my experience of hanging.
No, the only like talk show I watch on television, the only 2 is The Daily Show and John Oliver.
Yeah,
that's it. I don't watch John. I think Maher is funny. Don't watch it. Not my shit.
Don't watch and
don't watch Colbert's new show. I watched his old show after The Daily Show. But
are you a fan? Are you a Conan O'Brien fan?
Like back in the day, it was Conan or David Letterman, but really when I got into Daily Show 15 years ago, 20 years ago, in the 90s, whenever the fuck it was, that's really been my go-to since.
In Sonic, Joe did say trope, I believe, once tonight. I think we got one.
But that was in reference to David's rewrite.
Yes.
And they were in here. I could. Wait, you want me to tell you what they were here?
Yeah, let's get Joe's trope police here at the end here.
I believe.
Wait, Joe.
There was
let me set it up. Well, let's see. Let's see. You want to hear Joe's tropes of the night? Here we go. What did Joe think?
Well, there was the trope of it. Just the one that glared at me was that she hears the screaming and she runs in and it's just her pouting and some toy from the Halloween shop. There's at least one in every episode in this. Like,
I mean,
you think there's danger, but it's not.
You could argue that the whole.
Oh, and the same thing with the bites. You don't see the bites, but they look down at each other because they both and you see their horrid faces. Like, yeah.
And you could argue that the whole episode was a trope with the way that Tracy was saying this, Anna was saying this too, and a couple other people saying, like, when you set up everyone, me that never didn't know what the fuck is happening in this episode, every person in the live motherfucking chat, every human being on Earth that could possibly watch this episode knew that Ellie's girlfriend was dying by the end of this episode. Like, yep. It was the trope of the character introduced that the main character loves, that keeps their humanity alive, that's going to die by the end of the episode. The cheesemaker for Morgan on The Walking Dead, she was this person. She was Ellie's cheesemaker. And Ellie's going down and gonna like get dark because of this. And this is what connects her with Joel. Nobody thought that what was her name again? What was the character's name?
Yep.
No one thought.
Yep. That was it. That was her name. Was her name. What's her name again? That's her name.
No one thought what's her name was gonna survive the fucking episode tonight, Joe.
Yep.
She's dead. Yeah, Riley. Thank you, chat. Riley. No one knew. No one. And I challenge you and I say you're full of shit. I call bullshit if you didn't think that Riley was dying the moment Riley was introduced. And that's all I'm saying. Like, the minute Riley's introduced, she could have been wearing a t-shirt. I'm fucking dying tonight. That's all I'm saying about this fucking episode. Theory. Riley's still alive. at Phil, the issues guy. The character's name is Riley, motherfucker. Yes, it's Riley. Thank you. It's fucking Riley. So, Joe, we'll be back next week. Joe got disconnected again. Oh no, he's back in. His actual connection's back in. So, Joe, we're gonna be back for 2 more episodes. What are your hopes for these final 2 episodes? We've talked about it a couple of times tonight. This David arc that we're about to see, we talked a little bit about it. What could you briefly say without spoilers that you're hoping that they could... Are you hoping for a lot in these next 2 episodes? Like, even if the season's not saved, are you excited to see the end of this game depicted on screen in these last couple of episodes?
Yeah. I've been excited, even though I'm
dubious.
I still look forward to every week's episodes. The only TV I'm following right now it's the only TV I'm following that's live TV right now. Oh no, Poker Face, but that's not like it's episodic. It's not serial. Really, so I still look forward to every episode, but I'm not excited or I'm not expecting them to like dig themselves out of this hole or it to get all sorts of better over the next 2 episodes. I know what the story is coming. So basically I'm just hoping they at least entertain me.
Are you excited to see Troy Baker and the actor that the actress that played Ellie in these final 2 episodes? I think she's playing Ellie's mom at one point.
Oh, so there's more flashback?
Yeah, we're going to see another flashback probably.
Oh, no.
Of Ellie's mom. We're going to meet Ellie's mom at one point because I know the actress that plays Ellie in the game is playing Ellie's mom at some point.
Yeah, I knew that too, and I was expecting to see that.
I was expecting to see her tonight. Yeah, so we're going to get a flashback in episode 9.
I forgot about that.
Or 10, or 8 or 9.
Which is going to take away from the story that we have.
Right.
So more flashback. Are they going to do like an opening scene again.
Probably episode.
Yeah, no. Oh, no. What did you do to me?
Sorry, Joe.
You
What if
waited
they?
all night to stick your thumb in my ass.
Peggy
Jesus.
asks you, Joe, what if they quadrupled Joel and Ellie's body count in the final 2 episodes?
Like, that's fine, but we all know we're not going to see it.
Joe, okay, everybody, let's sit in the
Like,
cat.
not just that they're not going to do it. Like, even if they double the body count, they're just not going to be on screen.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us this week. We really do appreciate it. We cannot thank you enough. All our Super Chat donators, all of our amazing people. Maud Mary, I owe you a bongo love story. I'll do it on either Tony's stream or one of my streams coming up soon. Very much appreciated. Lots of love to our good buddy Teflon TV. I'll probably be on there sometime this week. Make sure you're subscribed to our good buddy over there, Teflon TV, Bridge 4 as well. Make sure you're subscribed here for all of our nonsense. I might be on sometime this week talking about The Shrinking. I really have been enjoying it enough to maybe want to talk about it, but I might do a roundabout where I'll talk about a couple of shows, or I'll be back next week with Joe to talk about these final 2 episodes of The Last of Us. I love you, David. Tracy G, your great fucking stream. No, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. We love you guys. This is the most fun I have all fucking week, everybody. So we'll be back. And make sure, if you haven't already, hit that like button. We're not done. We got so many more shows this year to talk about and so many more shows. So subscribe, give your suggestions, comment, like, subscribe, all that fucking stupid bullshit, YouTube bullshit. Help us fuck that algorithm right in its motherfucking ear.
Yes.
With our motherfucking. Love you guys. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.